Chapter 1. Baojia's voice is soft, but her eyebrows are raised. Baojia is comforting Lin Luoran and telling her not to care about the heartless man. In fact, Baojia wants to chop the bastard into minced meat and feed him to the dogs. Baojia looks at her friend who is sitting on the sofa and staring at the TV in a daze. Lin Luoran is 27 years old. Her cheeks are no longer as smooth as they used to be. Her black hair still hangs down to her waist, but without special care, the ends of her hair are yellow and split in half. Coupled with her empty and vacant eyes, and the clothes she was wearing added up to less than 300 yuan, how was this the beautiful and delicate girl she was in high school? She was clearly a woman in her late 20s. Baojia suddenly feels something surging in her heart. She is so sad that she is about to cry. She grits her teeth so hard that they almost break. "I'm going to find that bastard." While saying, she picks up her handbag on the sofa. Her high-heeled shoes with a 10-centimeter heel spin on the old tiles. She turns around and walks out of the door. A pair of hands stops her. Blue veins are bulging and skinny. Baojia glances at the hands and knows that they belong to them. Who else is in the house except the thin Lin Luoran? Baojia doesn't want to use force. Such a thin arm seems to be broken easily. She suddenly cries, "What's the use of torturing yourself like this? That bastard couple is still alive." Baojia's eyes are blurred by the gushing tears. They run down her cheeks and ruin her delicate makeup. However, she doesn't care about that now. She really loves Luoran. Lin Luoran seems to be scared by her friend's crying. She shows some emotion on her face. Her eyes move slowly and she comes back to her human self. "Baojia." She tries to speak, but her voice is dry and hoarse because she hasn't spoken for a long time. Baojia still has tears on her face. She can't hide her surprise. Lin Luoran hasn't said a word for 3 days. Now Lin Luoran speaks. Baojia feels that her hands are trembling. She wants to touch Lin Luoran's face, but she is afraid to disturb Lin Luoran. She is afraid that this is just her dream. Lin Luoran rolls her dark pupils. Her eyes are dry because she hasn't slept for 3 days. He didn't sleep or rest for 3 days, nor did he eat or drink. He always knew that he could endure, but he didn't expect that he could endure to this extent. Perhaps this was the cheap life of the poor? Lin Luoran finds that she is in the mood to laugh at herself again. She looks up and sees the worry in Baojia's eyes. Baojia looks at her nervously. Lin Luoran tries her best to force a smile, but her smile is full of bitterness. "Baojia, I'm hungry." Lin Luoran grabs Baojia with her slender arms. She doesn't know where the strength comes from. Baojia takes a deep breath and forces herself to calm down. Maybe this is just Luoran's trick. What if Luoran can't think straight after leaving her? "I'll order takeout for you. It's your favorite Yonghe soybean milk." Baojia thinks fast and comes up with a compromise. She takes out her dark blue phone from her bag and calls Yonghe soybean milk. She orders a cup of soybean milk, vegetable porridge and Lin's favorite kelp. Lin Luoran doesn't object. Except that she still grabs her friend's hand tightly. She is very quiet. However, the unconcealable atmosphere of dusk on her face in the past 3 days is gone. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rings and the takeout is delivered. Lin Luoran eats the steaming soybean milk slowly and carefully so as not to waste any food. When she finishes it, Lin Luoran's tight stomach relaxes and her cold hands and feet regain strength. She looks up at Baojia. "Don't worry. I have to support my parents. I won't think straight." Hearing her words, Baojia finally feels relieved. The two seem to get along with each other in college. At night, Baojia sleeps in Lin Luoran's rented room. Hearing the slight breathing, Lin Luoran is sure that Baojia is asleep. Lin Luoran, who should have fallen asleep, opens her eyes. The quiet moonlight shines through the anti-theft window. This is an old building of only dozens of square meters. It is at least 30 years old and belongs to the high-risk old buildings within the second ring road of the city. The demolition has been delayed for a long time. Even the old residents are not willing to live here. Basically, they are rented to migrant workers. Lin Luoran is one of the migrant girls. Because the rent is cheap, she has lived here for 3 or 4 years. For that man, she lives in such a building with equanimity. Both of them are from the countryside. In the third year of college, something happened to Li Anping's family. His mother knelt in front of Lin Luoran and begged her to help her son. Li Anping looks at her with red eyes. Her parents also say that they are engaged and it doesn't matter who can graduate. Lin Luoran's honest parents give the opportunity to Li Anping to study. Lin Luoran drops out of college in the third year and finds several jobs. Not only does she have to send money to her family, but she also supports Li Anping until he graduates. Even Li Anping can enter this company because of the help of Lin Luoran's good friend, Baojia. Thinking about it now, she is indeed a fool, isn't she? Luoran looks at the photo in front of the bedside table. Li Anping is wearing a well-fitting sports coat. He is sunny and energetic. You can't tell that he is a rustic village boy at all. Is this the phoenix man often mentioned on the internet? A phoenix flying out of the mountain must be matched with a rich girl. Lin Luoran is just a stepping stone for Li Anping to get rich. Lin Luoran opens her eyes wide and tears flow down silently. She clenches her fists. She still has her parents and Baojia. She is not without anything. Fortune House is the largest jewelry chain brand in our city. Baojia is the jewelry designer. Li Anping graduated from his master's, so Baojia introduced him to Fortune House as an administrative assistant. Li Anping has been working there for half a year. Last month, Baojia joked that Li Anping's boss is changed to a beautiful girl and she should be careful. At that time, Lin Luoran didn't take it seriously. They have been together for 7 or 8 years. Li Anping has had many admirers during this period. Lin Luoran doesn't feel threatened by a beautiful girl. What she doesn't know is that this beautiful girl is not only Li Anping's boss but also the only daughter of the boss of Fortune House. What a melodramatic story, isn't it? Lin Luoran stands in front of the administrative building of Fortune House and laughs at herself. It's time to get off work. The glass door is pushed open and Baojia walks out of the revolving door in high heels. Lin Luoran moves into the shadow and successfully avoids Baojia's sight. Half an hour later, almost all the employees of Fortune House have left. Lin Luoran finally sees a familiar figure coming out of the revolving door. With his well-tailored suit and spirited hair, Li Anping appeared to be in high spirits. Behind him, a beautiful girl in a professional suit comes out. Her facial features are not very beautiful. She is gorgeous because of the expensive international brand package and the layers of makeup. Is she Li Anping's new girlfriend? Lin Luoran bites her lips. Such a beautiful woman can indeed make people feel inferior. However, she has to come here, so she can't flinch. Lin Luoran is standing in front of the shiny door of the Fortune House. She is out of place with everything around her. People can find her at a glance. However, it is not Li Anping who notices Lin Luoran first. It is the young lady of Fortune House with curly eyelashes. She says to Li Anping, "Hey, your old lover is here." Li Anping turns around. It is indeed the shabby Lin Luoran. An imperceptible disgust flashes across Li Anping's face. He quickly turns around and says with tenderness in his eyes, "Ellie, I told you that it was arranged by my family. I have nothing to do with her for a long time." Ellie takes the bag from Li Anping's hand and interrupts his explanation. She says with a faint smile, "You have nothing to do with her? That means we used to be. Well, you have 5 minutes to solve it." Ellie doesn't care about an opponent like Lin Luoran. She takes the bag from Li Anping and goes to her new Audi TT without even looking at it. It is not a very expensive car, but Ellie likes it. Just like men, they don't have to be from a noble family. As long as they have her name, they will be expensive. Li Anping walks to Lin Luoran with a gloomy face and looks disgusted. "I thought I have made it clear. Luoran, we are not suitable for each other. We have different personalities." Li Anping is impatient. He hopes to solve the problem in 5 minutes. Lin Luoran suddenly looks up and says, "Li Anping, you think too much." Lin Luoran is not blind. She can see the disgust in Li Anping's eyes. She doesn't want to believe it, but she also knows that Li Anping has chosen another woman. No matter how sad she is, she can't show it in front of this bastard. "Since we have broken up, give me back my things." Lin Luoran tries to be calm and says while pointing at a bracelet on Li Anping's hand. It was an heirloom of the Lin family that had been passed down for many generations. It was a stylish silver bracelet that was suitable for both men and women. There were silver wires wrapped around it, and a 2-centimeter diameter bead was hollowed out and placed in the silver ball, spinning around. Lin Luoran's mother put the bracelet on Li Anping's hand when they got engaged. Hearing that Lin Luoran comes to ask for the bracelet instead of crying and begging to make up with him, Li Anping's face turns blue with anger. He says, "Lin Lun, aren't you being too stingy? It is just a broken bracelet. How dare you ask for it?" The threatening man in front of her is the one she used to love? Lin Luoran feels strange and distressed. However, it is indeed an heirloom of the Lin family, so she naturally wants it back. She sneers, "It is just a broken bracelet. Li Anping, when did you become so duplicitous?" Li Anping's face changes several times. Of course, he can't tell Lin Luoran that Ellie's birthday is coming soon. He thinks that the bracelet given by Lin Luoran's family is also an antique and only this bracelet is valuable. Li Anping takes it to an antique shop and the shopkeeper gives him 30,000 yuan, saying that he likes the style. Li Anping has the cunning of ordinary people. Seeing that the shopkeeper gives him 30,000 yuan, Li Anping naturally wants to wait for the price. That's why he doesn't sell it. Now Lin Luoran has the nerve to ask for the bracelet. If he gives it to her, where can he find a birthday gift for Ellie? Li Anping is still thinking when a harsh car horn pulls him back to reality. The window of Ellie's bright red Audi TT is rolled down. Half of her face is covered by sunglasses. She smiles and says, "What? Haven't you finished catching up with your old lover?" Li Anping hurriedly says, "I told you that it doesn't matter. I'm leaving." Ignoring Lin Luoran, who is still standing there, he gets into the car. Ellie rolls up the window and is about to step on the gas. Suddenly, she feels that a shadow is cast on her. Lin Luoran grabs her rearview mirror and says word by word, "I only want the bracelet." Ellie looks at Li Anping. She knows that Li Anping always wears an antique silver bracelet, but she doesn't expect that it is Lin Luoran's. Chapter 2. Ellie doesn't care whether Li Anping's excuse is far-fetched or not. She takes the bracelet and takes a look at it. To her surprise, the bracelet is more and more beautiful. Ellie doesn't expect that there is such a good thing in a country girl's home. Ellie turns her eyes and raises the bracelet. "I didn't expect it to be so beautiful." She pauses on purpose to look at Li Anping and Lin Luoran. Both of their expressions change. Li Anping is guilty, and Lin Luoran is afraid that she won't return the bracelet. Ellie notices their expressions and curls her lips. No matter how beautiful it is still cheap. Lin Luoran's face turns paler instantly. Ellie opens her red lips. She doesn't feel that she is vicious at all. She only feels that the expression of the country girl is very interesting. Ellie throws the bracelet at an angle where Lin Luoran can't catch it. The silver bracelet makes a sound of metal colliding on the ground. Lin Luoran's eyes turn red and she unconsciously lets go of the mirror. Ellie rolls up the window, and the Audi TT drifts away with a beautiful drift. Lin Luoran's nails dig into her flesh and blood oozes out. She bends down to pick up the bracelet. She doesn't want to stay here any longer. The air is dirty where the adulterous couple stayed. By the time she took the bus back to the place where she lived, the sky had already darkened. Lin Luoran is so tired that she doesn't even bother to turn on the light. She has taken back the heirloom of the Lin family and has nothing to do with the heartless man anymore. The next step is to think about what she wants to do. Her parents are old and they have been urging her to marry Li Anping in the past 6 months. Therefore, she can't tell them that they have broken up for the time being. Her parents can't stand the shock. She has paid a year's rent for the house. She has only lived there for 3 months, so she doesn't worry about the rent. As for her job, she was fired a week ago. At that time, the manager was evasive and only said that she had offended someone. Lin Luoran doesn't know who she had offended. Today, the arrogant attitude of Li Anping's new girlfriend reminds Lin Luoran. Li Anping looks generous, but in fact, she is a narrow-minded young lady. She steals her boyfriend, kills her, and stops her from working. It's a lie to say that she doesn't hate her. However, there is nothing Lin Luoran can do. Maybe she can never take revenge on Li Anping for the rest of her life. They are so different. Lin Luoran still has to take care of her elderly parents. She can't splash acid on Li Anping. The two of them originally planned to get married, but the 30,000 yuan they had saved up was taken away by Li Anping with the excuse that he needed to do training. In this way, after 6 years of hard work, Lin Luoran is left with lost youth, unfinished studies, an embarrassing age, and the only 1,600 yuan in cash. Lin Luoran unconsciously clenches the silver bracelet. Blood oozes out of her injured palm. The faint blood passes through the hollow silver wires and invades the bead. When Lin Luoran doesn't notice it, the blood is absorbed by the bead. After absorbing the blood, the bead emits a dim light. It is very weak, as if it is not full and has no strength. Lin Luoran is still immersed in her own thoughts. How can she understand what the bead is thinking? The bead trembles slightly, like a living body with Reiki. It is anxious for a long time, but it can't do anything. Finally, it makes up its mind and emits a beam of light. The silver wires wrapped around the bead move by themselves, turning into a sharp thorn and stabbing into Lin Luoran's palm. There is no light at home. Lin Luoran is just absent-minded, but she is not blind. She naturally notices the beam of light in her hand. As soon as she raises her hand, the silver wires turn into a sharp thorn and stab into her hand. Lin Luoran is shocked. It doesn't hurt much, just like being stung by an ant. However, Lin Luoran is still scared to death. This kind of thing is beyond the scope of scientific explanation. Any normal person would be scared and shocked, not to mention that the silver wires are now like a transparent crystal tube. Lin Luoran can see her bright red blood dripping on the bead through the thin tube and being absorbed by the bead. Lin Luoran tries to shake her hand, but the whole bracelet seems to be rooted in her palm. She can't get rid of it. In the blink of an eye, she seems to have lost a lot of blood. She feels a little dizzy, which is the reaction of excessive blood loss. The bead is getting brighter and brighter as it absorbs more and more blood. In just a few minutes, the dim light has become so dazzling that people can hardly look at it directly. Lin Luoran feels that her vision is blurred. She knows that if the bead continues to absorb her blood, she will die of excessive blood loss. She knows that she has got an unusual family heirloom, but she is afraid that she won't be alive to enjoy it. The bead seems to sense her fear. With a slight hum, it takes back the thin tube and stops absorbing her blood. Lin Luoran takes the opportunity to throw the bead on the tea table. Then she collapses on the shabby sofa. Her lips are pale and her whole back is wet. She is sweating as if she just got out of the water. The bracelet changes back to its original appearance, except that it is glowing and the thin tube is gone. Lin Luoran survives the disaster. Although she is very curious, she doesn't dare to pick up the bracelet to have a look. After a long time, the light of the bead gradually dims, leaving only a soft glimmer like the bright moon. Lin Luoran props herself up and leans forward a little. She carefully looks at the family heirloom that almost killed her. Lin Luoran thinks she is dazzled. She rubs her eyes and finds that the scene in front of her is still the same. The strange bead has absorbed her blood. After the light dims, Lin Luoran finds that the original silver shell of the bracelet is melting little by little. The hollow ring made of silver wires is like a cage or a protective layer of the bead. At this time, it is melting. Lin Luoran steps back alertly. Finally, the silver slowly melts into a pool of silver liquid. Under the glimmer of the bead, the silver liquid emits a moving luster of metal liquid. Lin Luoran is surprised to find that the silver liquid is also being absorbed by the bead just like how it absorbed her blood. Within a few breaths, the small pool of liquid is completely gone. Lin Luoran holds the pillow in her hand tightly and presses her lips tightly. The light of the bead is even more attractive. The colorful halos are clearly surrounding the bead. It is more gorgeous than the most breathtaking jewelry in the world. The bare bead bounces up and down in the air as if it is cheering. Lin Luoran squints her eyes and is still thinking about how to deal with this supernatural thing. It is not practical to use the pillow. Within her reach, there is only a glass of water on the tea table. Should she pour water on the bead? It is not melodramatic. Lin Luoran thinks about it and her body is tight. She has never been so nervous. Chapter 3. The dazzling light makes Lin Luoran burst into tears. It seems that there is no other danger. Lin Luoran tries to move her hands and feet and opens her eyes. The scene in front of her makes Lin Luoran's mouth wide open. Where is this place? She is stepping on the green grass. The grass is 2 feet high and it is very tough. Lin feels that she is going to float up when she steps on the grass. This is a land with a radius of less than half an acre. There is a wooden hut which occupies 1/3 of the land. Opposite the hut was a small pond about 3 feet wide. Spring water bubbled out of it, and a small green tree grew beside the pond, looking crystal clear. There is a red fruit in the size of mulberry on the tree, which is bright in the mist of the pond. Lin Luoran pinches her face hard. Ouch, it hurts. The hut is still there, the spring water is still coming out of the pond, and Lin Luoran is still standing in the grass. It is not a dream. Lin Luoran immediately realizes that she seems to have encountered some kind of chance. Lin Luoran guesses that everything in front of her must be related to the mysterious bead. Lin Luoran is tougher than ordinary girls. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to hold on for so many years. Therefore, she is still calm in the face of such supernatural things. Lin Luoran decides to explore this mysterious space with the idea of taking things as they come. She stands there and thinks for a while. Then she picks up a lump of soil from the ground and throws it over. The clod drew a beautiful arc in the air and bounced off a foot away from the wooden house. It seemed to be protected by an invisible shield. Was this the prohibition that was often mentioned in books? Lin Luoran is curious. She sees that the soil is just bounced away. She should be fine, right? Lin Luoran takes a few steps and moves forward slowly. Sure enough, she bumps into something very elastic, like jelly. When she pokes it with her hand, a transparent dent is formed. Obviously, she can't enter the hut, at least not now. Lin Luoran turns her eyes to the small water spring. Natural treasures usually accompany each other. Should she drink the spring water or eat the fruit? This is a problem. Lin Luoran still cherishes her life. She picks up a blade of grass to stir the water. After poking for a long time, the grass was still green. At least it wasn't corrosive. She plucked up her courage and put the grass that had been soaked in the spring water into her mouth. Oh, the grass had a muddy taste. However, the sweetness he tasted on the tip of his tongue, could it be that drop of water? This was too miraculous. How could she encounter such a thing? If it was really poison, then she was destined to never be the main character. Lin Luoran hesitates for a long time. She feels that this place is mysterious and peaceful. It is probably not something harmful. Lin Luoran bends over and drinks some water. Ever since she saw Li Anping come back and lost so much blood, she had long been unbearably thirsty. At this time, when the spring water entered her throat, the taste buds first came into contact with that sweet and cold feeling. As it flowed down her throat, it was as refreshing as drinking ice water on a hot summer day. That burning impatience completely disappeared. Lin Luoran unconsciously drinks more before she stops. In the secret land, there is plenty of light and the temperature is just right. She has to wait for the medicine to take effect. She drinks the spring water and lies on the grass. It's so comfortable that she almost doesn't want to get up. After a long time, she almost falls asleep waiting. However, the phenomenon of taking magic minerals and earthly treasures as described in the novel does not appear. Lin Luoran touches her face. It is not very smooth. She can't afford expensive skincare products in a poor life, so it is inevitable that her face is rough. Then she looks at her hands. Well, the dry cracks and fine lines caused by the seasonal autumn are gone. Her face does not change, but her hands that have touched the spring water become much smoother and more tender. Is this the effect of the spring water? Lin Luoran's eyes become a little hot as she looks at the spring water. This spring water that can significantly improve the skin quality may be able to improve the life of her family. Lin Luoran is not greedy. Figuring out the effect of the spring water is enough to make her feel happy. She suddenly becomes spirited. She turns over and climbs up. She jumps to the spring and carefully looks at her future pool of hope. The shadow of being lovelorn is not as easy as she appears. Lin Luoran has the tenacity of a small person at the bottom of the society. Now she needs something to divert her attention, such as this mysterious space and this small spring that can change her future life. The spring water gushes out from the ground. There is only a very shallow pool with bubbles in the middle. It seems that the spring water is endless. Lin Luoran looks at it for a long time, and an idea comes to her mind. Can the spring water have extraordinary effects on plants like in novels? She is eager to have a try, but there is only the grass and the small tree in the space. Lin Luoran feels painful at the thought of watering the grass with the spring water. Then, there is only the small tree left. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether the red fruit is edible or not. Lin Luoran suddenly feels a little hungry. However, the fruit is small and really beautiful. She can't bear to eat it. She looks at the spring for a long time, and for some reason she holds a handful of water and pours it on the small tree. What? Lin Luoran can't help but make a sound of surprise. The spring water is poured on the tree and instantly soaks into the soil. The water drops between the branches and leaves are also absorbed by the leaves. After a while, Lin Luoran even suspects that she just blinked and the small tree has changed under her eyes. The leaves are faintly glowing. Not only is the green color more obvious, but the luster on the leaves is flowing. It has the texture of jade. It seems that in this short moment, the tree is evolving into jade. The leaves spun and flowed with brilliant colors. A mist-like substance rose from the leaves. The mist swirled around and was absorbed by the red mulberry-like fruit like it was smoking opium. Lin Luoran doesn't dare to blink. All these are complicated, but in fact they are done in a very short time. The green color of the leaves fades, and the fruit becomes redder. The leaves no longer have the texture of jade, but the fruit has the tendency to evolve into rubies. Crack, a very slight sound comes from the fruit automatically leaving the branch. Lin Luoran quickly catches the red fruit. She looks at the small tree, which has become ordinary and no longer has the previous crystal appearance. This red fruit is obviously grown by absorbing all the essence of the small tree. Lin Luoran has to treasure it. She feels warm in her palm. This thing doesn't look like a fruit at all. Lin Luoran looks at the hot potato in her palm. She really doesn't dare to eat it or throw it away. However, she has been here for so long. How can she go back? As soon as this idea flashes in Lin Luoran's mind, the scene in front of her changes greatly. In the blink of an eye, she is back in her room, still lying on the sofa. Could it be that all of this was just an illusion? This idea flashed through her mind, and she looked at her hand nervously. The mysterious bead was tied to her hand again. It was a very thin silver wire, but it was very soft and strong. It seemed to extend from the inside of the bead, and she couldn't see any joint. In her right hand, there is something warm. She opens it and sees that it is the ruby-like fruit. Chapter 4. Although she was calm when she found the mysterious space, she can't control herself now. The generation who grew up under the red flag and received atheism education should be able to understand Lin's feeling at this time. Lin stands up and stamps her feet. If all of this was real, looking at the spring water, could it be that he really had to become a vegetable farmer and sell it like in the novels? Thinking of the only 1,600 yuan in her wallet, Lin has to make a plan quickly. Lin Luoran is a decisive girl. If it weren't for the dark, she would go out to buy seeds immediately. She should go to bed early today and get up early tomorrow morning. Anyway, the space is not a bad thing. If there is a chance to get out of poverty and become rich, she must try it. Lin Luoran thinks of the fruit she brought out again. Should she eat it or not? It's really a dilemma. She rubs her eyes to make sure she is not dazzled. How come the fruit is not as red as it was in the space? Is it going to spoil? Lin Luoran frowns. If this is really a treasure, she will cry to death if she wastes it. Although the tree in the space is still there, no one can guarantee when it will bear a second fruit. Like a prisoner being tortured, Lin throws the fruit into her mouth resolutely. She only smashes it twice, and the fruit is already in her stomach before she can taste it. God, when did she become so greedy? She doesn't even wash it. However, she has been lying on the sofa for half an hour and there is no reaction from her body. What a bullshit. Lin Luoran finally gets angry. The expectation is not proportional to the gain. Anyone will be disappointed. She suddenly stands up. The bead on her wrist is shining and she can't pull it off. She can still enter the space with her mind. The grass is still so green, and the spring is still so clear. However, Lin has no confidence to get out of poverty and become rich with the space. It is of little value. Lin angrily defines the space of the bead. Then she feels like a little girl who hasn't grown up, and she wants to laugh. It is an unexpected fortune. It will be better if she has it, but there is nothing to be angry about. At least she can use it as a mobile warehouse. Thinking of this, Lin Luoran feels much better. She looks at the old clock on the wall. It's already 10 o'clock. She should go to bed early so that she can have the energy to find a new job tomorrow. Lin Luoran doesn't have the habit of putting on makeup, so she washes quickly. Lying on the bed, Lin Luoran subconsciously forces herself to fall asleep quickly. However, Li Anping keeps appearing in her mind. She pretends to be calm when she goes to Fortune House to see Li Anping. After all, it was a relationship of 7 to 8 years. Not to mention a human, even a dog would be reluctant to part with him. Her heart was filled with sadness and hatred. Her head was swollen and painful. She tossed and turned on the bed and only fell asleep after a long time. The clock on the wall points to 11:55. The bead on Lin's wrist is illuminated by the moonlight in the bedroom, giving off a dim light. The bead guides the light around Lin Luoran. She feels so comfortable that she relaxes her frowning eyebrows in her dream. The light is absorbed by Lin Luoran little by little. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The hands of the minute, second, and hour completely overlap. It is exactly 12 o'clock now. According to the ancient saying, it is the middle of the Z period, the time of the day when yin is the strongest. Extreme yin breeds a trace of early yang. Not 1 minute more, not 1 minute less. The warm fruit that Lin Luoran ate earlier finally burst out the infinite power of the medicine in such a favorable time and place. The heat rising from her abdomen almost breaks through Lin Luoran's meridians which have not been cultivated before. It hurts so much. Lin Luoran feels like she is being roasted in a stove. What is wrong with her? The tearing pain hits Lin Luoran's body. She is in so much pain, but she can't wake up in reality. If she can't wake up, then she will sleep forever? Lin Luoran vaguely thinks of this. Finally, she can't bear the pain and loses consciousness. The magnificent efficacy of the medicine is combing Lin Luoran's exhausted body over and over again. It breaks through meridians one after another. The spring water she drank earlier and the reiki from the bead keep repairing her body. The owner of the body has fainted, but she has not been killed by the pain. Lin Luoran, who is in a coma, doesn't know that the flame fruit she ate is a famous spirit fruit in the world of cultivation. It is several levels higher than the medicine mentioned in the legend of vermilion fruit. Even in the world of cultivation, people will fight for such a spirit fruit. However, it was eaten by Lin Luoran, who has no foundation at all. Most of the efficacy of the fruit is wasted. It only helps her to cleanse her marrow and meridians and stores the rest of the efficacy in her meridians and body. The reason why the flame fruit is so powerful is that it can improve the meridians. In novels, it is often said that cleansing marrow and meridians is just one thing. It is easy to change the meridians. There are many medicines in the world that can improve the meridians. However, cleansing marrow is the improvement of a person's basic physique, which is very rare. After 3 or 4 hours, the efficacy doesn't stop flowing through her meridians. Lin Luoran is wrapped in a layer of black sweat, which gradually forms a black human-shaped cocoon on her body. The bead seems to have exerted a lot of strength. After feeling that Lin Luoran is no longer hot, it lies quietly on her wrist. Through the black cocoon, Lin Luoran can feel the faint light of the bead. Beep, beep, the alarm clock beside the bed is ringing. Lin Luoran rubs her eyes. Her eyelids are very dry and there are flakes of skin. Lin Luoran rubs them again and feels something is wrong. Why are there flakes of skin on her hands? Lin Luoran suddenly wakes up. She opens her eyes and finds that something is wrong with her body. She is wrapped in a layer of black shell and smells terrible. The whole bed sheet and quilt are dirty. Lin Luoran vaguely remembers the burning and sharp pain in her body last night. God, is it not a dream? Space, fruit, sharp pain? Lin Luoran is not a fool. She quickly gets up and rushes to the bathroom. The mirror with a chipped edge is attached to the wall of the sink. At first glance, Lin Luoran's face is black, only her eyes can be seen. When she blinks, she feels that the misty mirror is much brighter. Her hands are trembling. She reaches out to her face, which is a kind of suppressed joy. As expected, after rubbing off the layer of black and smelly dead skin, the skin on her face and hands is white and lovely. Lin Luoran cheers and turns on the shower. After washing off the stench and grease, she is almost stunned by her own appearance when she stands in front of the mirror. Her skin is very white. It is not the kind of pale of illness. Instead, it is like a peeled egg, smooth and elastic. Her cheeks also have a touch of natural ruddiness. Her hair is like a piece of fine silk. The yellowness and dryness are all gone. Instead, it is shining with black luster. Her facial features have not changed. Only her eyes are not dull because of the torture of life. Instead, they are full of spirit, a bit like the feeling of being full of radiance. In general, she is still Lin Luoran, but she seems to have become a completely different person. She is more than 5 years younger now. It takes Lin Luoran a long time to calm down. She finds that it is almost noon. She planned to go out to find a job today, but it seems that she can't. After a while, Lin Luoran laughs. She hasn't changed her mind. How can she find a job at this time? The most important thing is to figure out the real function of this space and the spring. She looks around the room. The floor of this shabby house is still tile, and it is covered with adult scars because of its age. It looks dirty. No matter how hard she cleans it, she feels that the room is gray and uncomfortable. Lin Luoran has been living a hard life before, so she is not in the mood to take care of the delicate flowers and plants. After looking around her small house, there is only a fleece flower that she picked up from the vegetable market. It is hanging its head and weakly climbing the railing of the anti-theft window. Lin Luoran wants to raise this fleece flower to make soup for her hair because her hair is too ugly to look at. But now, it has a greater meaning. There is a smile in Lin's eyes. She looks at the knotweed which is lowering its head. Chapter 5. Perhaps it was because it was too young and could only play a role in promoting blood circulation. The leaves of the fleece flower are covered with dust. Lin Luoran is embarrassed to take it into her space, so she gets a basin of water and washes it carefully. However, what puzzles her is that the little thing is still foggy after washing it for so long. How dirty is it? Lin Luoran feels something is wrong. She moves the pot to the balcony and looks at it carefully. Then she finds something unusual. The leaves of the fleece flower are very clean, at least in the normal sense. Lin Luoran feels it is dirty because there are wisps of gray mist flowing on the leaves, covering the whole plant. Not only that, but there was also a faint green mist in the center of the vines, extending and contracting, and it was the densest near the roots. Every time the green mist stretches a little, the gray mist retreats a little. As soon as the green mist shrinks, the gray mist comes back to occupy the green mist. Two kinds of mists of different colors seem to be waging a protracted battle. Moreover, it seems that the green mist is no match for the green mist at all. Lin Luoran wants to take a closer look, but her eyes are a little dry. It seems that she has overused her eyes. She closes her eyes, but her heart is fluctuating like a mountain. Is it Reiki or the life essence of plants that she just saw? Lin Luoran takes a deep breath and opens her eyes. It seems that the fruit has not only changed her appearance, but also brought more wonderful and magical things to her body. When she looks at the fleece flower again, it is the poor worm with its head drooping. The gray mist and the green mist are all gone. Only when she concentrates and looks at it with full attention, like magic, the gray mist and the green mist suddenly appear. Lin Luoran looks up from the burglar-proof window. The old community is also good. The flowers and trees were planted many years ago, and now they are very tall. There is a tall hibiscus tree not far from the window of Lin Luoran's house. It is in its flowering period with pink and light red interlaced among the green leaves, beautiful and lively. Looking carefully, the hibiscus tree is also in the same situation as the fleece flower. The gray mist and the green mist are in a stalemate. The only difference is that the green mist of the hibiscus tree is thickest around its flowers. Not only that, but there were also wisps of gray gas flowing in the air, which were inhaled by the unsuspecting passers-by. Lin Luoran is startled and looks at herself. The gray gas was also rushing towards her, flowing around her. When it was 1 meter away from her, it seemed to be scared away by an invisible demon, causing it to flee in all directions. Why am I the only one who can't be touched by the gray gas? There was nothing different about her, except for the bead on her wrist. The mysterious bead is tied to Lin Luoran's wrist quietly, emitting a dim light that ordinary people can't see. Taking a closer look, one will find that the light is so weak that it can't be seen when it is 1 meter away from Lin Luoran. In this case, Lin Luoran has discovered the effect of the bead again. If the green mist was the essence of plants, the spiritual chi of plants, then the gray mist would be the turbid chi of this world, wouldn't it? Humans lived in such turbid air every day. It was no wonder that with the development of science and technology, there were many strange diseases that did not exist before. In ancient times, when the vegetation was high, there would be green mist everywhere, and the gray mist would not prevail. From this point of view, it was indeed an era that people yearned for. Lin Luoran is lost in reverie. After a while, she remembers her original purpose. She picked up a glass from the table, and with a thought, she appeared in the mysterious space again. Last night, Lin Luoran only felt that the air here was fresher than outside. Now that her body has been transformed, she is particularly sensitive to the Reiki of heaven and earth. As soon as she comes in, she feels so comfortable that she almost moans. In her eyes, this space is also very different from last night. Last night, Lin Luoran only felt that the green mist on the grass was thicker than the whole hibiscus flower outside. As for the little tree that bore fruit last night, the green mist that flowed on it was almost tangible. As for the small spring, it is blue in Lin Luoran's eyes. More importantly, there is no trace of the gray gas outside in this space. The grass and trees are all green, but the shades are different. Above the small spring, there is a blue mist. Is this the different attribute of everything in the world? Yes, according to the division of the 5 elements, plants are all wood, and the small spring is water. Aren't they 2 types? Lin Luoran understands. She scoops a glass of water from the small spring and is about to go out. She sees the small tree beside the pool. The red fruit it bore last night is really hard. Lin Luoran tilts her hand, and half a glass of water falls on the root of the small tree. The spring water seeps into the soil, and the small tree happily drinks the nutrient solution. The green mist flowing between the branches and leaves is thicker, and the whole small tree is green and pleasant. Lin Luoran is satisfied and takes the water out of the space. The knotweed is half hanging on the ground, very dissatisfied with its master's slow movement. Lin Luoran carefully pours the half glass of water into the flower pot. As the spring water is absorbed, the green mist on the vines of the knotweed becomes thicker. The gray gas is temporarily defeated and has to step back. Lin Luoran is sure that she is not hallucinating. After drinking half a glass of spring water, the half-dead knotweed quickly becomes energetic at a speed visible to the naked eye. Is it an illusion? Why does she feel that the knotweed has grown a little taller and its roots have grown a little longer? Lin Luoran rubs her eyes. Not only is it not an illusion, but the knotweed has also grown a little longer. Gut. The spring water is much more powerful than any ripening agent. Lin Luoran is overjoyed. She looks at the knotweed as if she sees money running to her. She has always been calm and self-restrained, but now she is smiling. Lin Luoran is eager to test her ability. She puts her hand on the flower pot and moves into the space with the pot. The dirty flower pot is very incompatible with the clean and refreshing space, but Lin Luoran doesn't care about the elegance. She gently pulls the knotweed out of the pot. The root in Lin Luoran's hand is 3 times bigger than the one she picked up. This is the effect of the spring water in such a short time. Lin Luoran is ready to transplant the knotweed into the space. She finds that except for the area around the cottage and the spring water, the whole space is occupied by the 3-foot-tall grass. There is no place to plant the knotweed at all. Looking at the space, Lin Luoran finds that her work is not easy. Tidying up is also a problem. The small shovel in Lin Luoran's hand is not a professional hoe. The shovel she usually uses for cooking is now entrusted with an important task. The grass is uprooted one after another. Near the spring, Lin Luoran has opened up a 1-square-meter medicine field. The field is surrounded by the pebbles Lin Luoran picked up from downstairs to form an isolation belt. Lin Luoran plants the knotweed in the center with a thin bamboo pole so that the knotweed can grow up along the bamboo pole. The gray gas that had been surrounding the leaf had naturally been expelled by the space. The roots and vines of the knotweed are now covered with a faint green mist. As for the size of the medicine field, it is not because Lin Luoran doesn't concentrate on her work, but because the grass is too difficult to deal with. It was clearly a very soft and fertile land, but the roots of the grass were unbelievably developed. They tightly gripped onto the soil and refused to let go. Lin Luoran spends a lot of effort to open up the medicine field and plant the knotweed, which she has pinned her hope on. Looking at the result of her labor, Lin Luoran smiles with satisfaction. Thinking of her uncleaned bed sheets, she stops giggling and goes out of the space. She looks at the clock on the wall. It is 2:00 in the afternoon. If she goes there now, she should still be able to make it. Lin Luoran is thinking. She quickly packs up the dirty bed sheets, quilts, and clothes. She is going to throw them away when she goes out. Chapter 6. Compared with the busy city, the air on the crowded bus is naturally dirtier. Lin Luoran resolutely gets on the bus because she has the bead. She doesn't feel the air is dirty, but the atmosphere is a bit strange. Why are there so many blinking eyes around? Lin Luoran is so focused on her plan to make a fortune that she completely forgets her changed appearance. Although her clothes are still cheap and inconspicuous, they can't hide her delicate face and bright eyes. She is so beautiful but shabby. If she were on other people's body, especially in a place like the bus, there must be countless wretched hands trying to take advantage of her. However, she had the precious pearl with her, and her body had been cleansed of marrow and cleansed of meridians. She was no longer an ordinary glamorous woman of the mortal world. Her expression was gentle, but her temperament was awe-inspiring and noble. No one dared to look at her directly and profane her. That was why there were so many evasive gazes. Our city is the capital city of S province. It is a famous leisure city as well as a city with a large population. No matter how wide the streets are, it can't hold so many people and cars. The bus drives for half an hour. Lin Luoran has to change buses twice before she reaches her destination. There are 2 small shops with green facades. They are the direct sales point of a large seed company in our city. Lin Luoran once brought rice and vegetable seeds for her family and villagers. The price here is reasonable and the quality is good. Therefore, she comes here to buy seeds. Seeds are not daily necessities. Naturally, the business is very good in the season, but there are few people in normal days. Just like now, there is no customer in the 2 shops. There is only a chubby woman in the company's uniform texting under the counter. Lin Luoran stands 1 meter in front of the counter and reminds the saleswoman, "Ahem." The saleswoman puts down her mobile phone and puts on a professional smile. She is shocked by Lin Luoran's appearance when she looks up. This girl is so beautiful with good skin and good temperament. Alas, what kind of figure do I have? The saleswoman sighs in her heart, but she doesn't realize that she is just amazed. She doesn't get jealous as usual when she sees a beautiful woman. This is because of Lin Luoran's temperament. "Beauty, do you want to buy seeds? Do you need me to introduce you?" The salesgirl calls Lin Luoran beauty as soon as she opens her mouth. This is not flattery, but the custom of our city. Generally speaking, people in the service industry are sweet talkers. All female customers call Lin Luoran beauty, and male customers call Lin Luoran handsome. Lin Luoran has a plan in mind before she comes here. She smiles and answers, "Do you sell seeds of small tomatoes? Is it the cherry tomato?" The salesgirl asked again to confirm. Baojia has corrected Lin Luoran many times that it is called cherry tomato, but Lin Luoran still calls it tomato. The salesgirl knows what Lin wants. She rummages in the container and finds a small bag of cherry tomato seeds. These days, business was not good. The seed companies used to look down on this small business, but now they knew how to break down all kinds of seeds into small bags and sell them. Where does this bag of seeds come from? Although Lin Luoran's hometown is in the countryside and she often helped her family work when she was a child, she spent most of her time in school. She is good at helping, but she is not good at planting seeds that need to be planned from the beginning. This bag of seeds looks small, but it can be used to plant half an acre of land. Explaining to customers is part of her job, so the salesgirl is quite patient. Half an acre? Lin Luoran is speechless. Even if she pushes the hut in the space, it will only be half an acre of land. If all the seeds are planted with small tomatoes, she can't count on anything else. However, this is just her cover. Lin Luoran buys more vegetable seeds such as cabbage, lettuce, and spinach. There are more than 10 kinds of vegetables in total. Counting the money, it is just over 100 yuan. Of course, it has something to do with the small quantity. The salesgirl packs all the seeds. Seeing that the beauty is still hesitating in front of the counter, she can't help but ask, "What else do you need?" "We are a big company. The store here is a little small, but we have a full range of seeds." "Do you have wild ginseng seeds here?" Lin Luoran pretends to be embarrassed, but she is looking forward to the salesgirl's answer. That's right. Lin Luoran's original plan is not to become rich by growing vegetables. She doesn't think that she has the halo of the protagonist. How to explain the source of the large number of vegetables is a big problem in itself. It is not the first time for the salesgirl to meet such a naive customer. However, seeing that Lin Luoran is beautiful and comfortable, the salesgirl still explains with a smile, "Dear customer, wild ginseng is expensive, but the seeds are not. Who will collect them except for researchers? Besides, even if the ginseng is grown from wild people's seeds, it's not wild ginseng. We have ginseng seeds of the evergreen variety here. The price is 360 yuan per caddy, and it has the characteristics of wild ginseng. Do you want to consider it?" Lin Luoran feels embarrassed for making a fool of herself. However, she knows that the price of artificial wild ginseng is very different. Should she settle for the second best? "Can you show me the seeds first? I'm buying for someone else, so I need to check the quality first." Lin Luoran decides to check the quality of the seeds first. The salesperson searched for a while before finding the ginseng seeds from the counter. This thing was not bought every day, so it was naturally placed in a remote place. Lin Luoran grabs some and looks at it. She is disappointed. Inside these ginseng seeds, there was a faint green aura, but it was very weak. If one was not careful, they would overlook it. Even with her space, Lin Luoran can't guarantee that she can grow ginseng and sell it as wild ginseng. She looked around, but her eyes were attracted by a small transparent package on the counter. It is the kind of plastic bag that can be opened easily. There are a few seeds inside. Through the shell, the seeds are emitting dense green mist. They look almost the same as the ginseng seeds in her hand. Lin Luoran's heart is beating fast. It must be good stuff with such reiki. Are those ginseng seeds too? Lin Luoran points at the transparent bag on the counter and asks casually. With Lin Luoran's current eyesight, she can count that there are only 7 seeds in the bag. The fat salesperson turns around and says disapprovingly, "That is also a kind of ginseng seeds. I guess some customer asked for a sample but didn't take it away. If you need it, you can take it back and show it to your friend." The salesperson in the seed company deals with seeds every day, so he can basically recognize what kind of seeds are. The salesperson can tell at a glance that they are also ginseng seeds, and they are almost the same as the ginseng seeds. Lin Luoran's little plan is successful. Suppressing her joy, she picks up the bag of vegetable seeds and the small bag of ginseng seeds and leaves the counter. On her way out, she passes by a tall man. Lin Luoran doesn't care, but the tall man can't help but look at her. It is true that there are many beautiful women in our city. It seems that it is not a bad thing for him to be sent to this place. After buying the seeds, Lin Luoran doesn't take the bus. Instead, she takes a taxi. In less than a minute, the tall man catches up with Lin Luoran. However, all he sees is traffic and Lin Luoran is gone. She runs so fast. "I'm so angry." The tall man stamps his feet in front of the store. His character is totally incompatible with his height. He is so depressed. The chubby saleswoman also runs out. She is nervous and stutters. "General manager, I really didn't know that it was wild ginseng seeds." Her chubby face turns red. Everyone hasn't figured out the new general manager's temper yet, and she makes such a big mistake. What should she do? The tall man almost vomits blood. "What wild ginseng seeds?" "It is the seeds of a wild ginseng at least 500 years old. Birds and beasts love to peck the fruit of ginseng. Wild ginseng seeds are rare, not to mention the seeds of a 500-year-old ginseng. Well, it's useless for me to tell you this. They are all lost." The saleswoman has no time to think that wild ginseng seeds can grow into wild ginseng. She feels even more guilty. She is so scared and regretful that she is about to cry. Seeing her red eyes, the tall man felt a headache coming on. "Forget it, it's my fault. It's my fault for scolding you. Go back to work." Waving his hand to send the salesgirl back to the shop, the tall man's expression looked like he was constipated, which ruined his handsome facial features. "I shouldn't have asked for the young woman's phone number. Oh my God, is the term of my exile going to be extended again? Who took my ginseng seeds?" The tall man's sad cry startles a sparrow on a telephone pole. The passers-by think that the man is crazy and they all get out of the way. The tall man's face is even more sullen. At the same time, Lin Luoran sneezes in a taxi. People in the countryside are superstitious. They say that sneezing for no reason means that someone is talking about you behind your back. Lin Luoran thinks about it but has no clue. Is it because her parents are thinking about her? Chapter 7. The medicine field expands by 1 meter. The Polygonum multiflorum is planted in the middle. Around it are 7 ginseng seedlings, all of which have grown a few leaves. At the boundary between the herbal field and the grassland, the 2 small tomato plants were growing well. Not only were their branches flourishing, but they were also bearing fruits at an astonishing rate. The branches were covered with fruits that were twice the size of the cherry tomatoes sold outside, and they were emitting an alluring fragrance. Next to the tomatoes are 2 cabbages, tightly wrapped. The stems are as clear as white jade and the veins of the leaves are clear. They look good. Spinach also occupied a corner. The chili was planted to the left of the tomato. The bright red chili was competing with the tomato. A cucumber vine climbed up the bamboo pole. The tender yellow flower looked much more beautiful than the Chinese knotweed in the middle of the field, which only had vines but no flowers. Lin Luoran has tried to plant all the seeds she bought from the seed company. She even planted a bunch of green onions, which are mixed with the grass on the edge of the medicine field. It is hard to recognize them. Now it seems that it is more like a vegetable field than a medicine field. However, it is not Lin Luoran's fault. After eating the vegetables in the space, Lin Luoran can't bear to eat the grayish vegetables she bought from the market. The space is magical, and so is the spring. According to the time when she harvests vegetables, 1 day in the space is equivalent to 1 year in the outside world. Basically, no matter what vegetables are planted at night, they will be ripe the next morning. It makes sense. Any vegetable should be ripe after half a year. The most important thing is that the vegetables will always be ripe as long as Lin Luoran doesn't pick the fruits. The tomatoes will not fall, and the cabbages will not grow old. Everything is just right. It seems that the most beautiful moment of their lives is frozen by magic. Even if a ripe fruit was plucked, as long as it was kept in the space, it would remain in the state it was when it was just plucked, unbelievably fresh. The grass that Lin Luoran has cleaned up is slender, soft, and elastic. Since it is native to the space, Lin Luoran doesn't know what it can be used for, so she doesn't dare to throw it away. Instead, she weaves the grass into a large mat and spreads it on the ground. There are piles of tomatoes, cabbages, and other vegetables on the mat. Lin Luoran has been experimenting these days. She accidentally planted too many vegetables and couldn't finish them all. If he wanted the seeds of these vegetables, he would have to wait for them to ripen. By dripping some spring water on them, the vegetables would instantly exhaust their life essence and bear seeds that could be harvested. She sows the seeds she planted in the space several times. The vegetables in Lin's medicine field are no longer of the same quality as before. If this goes on forever, Lin Luoran suspects that she will grow spirit vegetables. The current vegetables were all clean and translucent. If they were to evolve into spirit vegetables, they would probably become half medicinal and half vegetable existences, right? It had the taste of vegetables and the effects of medicinal herbs. It was truly incredible. However, the biggest surprise for Lin Luoran is not these vegetables, but the ginseng she planted in the center of the medicine field. These seeds full of reiki are indeed extraordinary. Since the ginseng seedlings broke out of the soil, Lin Luoran is surprised to find that the green mist seems to be feeding the spring. Lin Luoran clearly sees that the mist of the ginseng seedlings floats to the spring. The blue mist is very happy. Even if Lin Luoran doesn't water the seedlings, the blue mist automatically floats to her. Wisps of blue and green mist mix together, making the two colors darker. These are spirit seeds, not artificially grown ginseng seeds. Lin Luoran sees that the fleece flower, which is also a medicinal herb, doesn't have this phenomenon. Lin Luoran immediately realizes that she has picked up a treasure. When it comes to this kind of medicinal herb, simply dripping some spring water can no longer make it bear fruit. She has to wait until it is old enough. For example, the ginseng in the medicine field should be equivalent to 5 years old wild ginseng after being planted for 5 days. Lin Luoran is very satisfied, but she can't continue to stay in the space now. Baojia should be here. Lin Luoran comes out of the space with a thought. Sure enough, as soon as she changes her clothes, she hears the horn downstairs. Lin Luoran knows that it is Baojia's car without looking. Lin Luoran is about to go downstairs. After thinking for a while, she finds 2 plastic bags and puts some small tomatoes and vegetables from the space. She is going to take them to Baojia. Baojia drives a dark red Toyota. She bought a 100 square meter house with a mortgage in our city, which is a success for a white-collar worker. Through the half-rolled window, Lin Luoran sees that Baojia is touching up her makeup in front of the mirror. Baojia! Lin Luoran is carrying 2 bags of vegetables. Her voice is light. She is no longer the lovelorn girl she was 2 weeks ago. Baojia squints at her and says, I told you to go out for a walk. I called you every day, but you didn't come out. Lin Luoran, did you go for plastic surgery? Baojia is still holding the eyeliner in her hand. There is a big black line on the corner of her eye. Obviously, she has failed. However, she just stares at Lin Luoran and doesn't even think of wiping it. God, did you go for plastic surgery when you were lovelorn? No wonder you didn't come out even when I called you. It turns out that you are hiding in your room to recover. Gee. Baojia doesn't look smart and capable at this moment. She is talking nonsense because she is too stimulated. Lin Luoran rolls her eyes at her. She opens the trunk and puts the vegetables and fruits in. After sitting in the passenger seat, she answers grumpily, Do I look like a person who is rich enough to go for plastic surgery? Baojia chokes and looks at Lin Luoran suspiciously. She takes a closer look and finds that Lin Luoran's facial features have not changed. However, her skin is so smooth that it can be broken by the wind. Lin Luoran's delicate facial features are highlighted. She has changed all of a sudden. Is it photon rejuvenation? That's impossible. The effect can't be so good. Baojia still doesn't want to give up, but she can't find the reason. Lin Luoran laughs. I did have some lucky chances these days. When I figure it out, I'll give you a makeover. There are some vegetables and fruits in the trunk. If you eat them for a long time, even if you can't become like me now, you will definitely benefit from it. What is a good friend? A person like Baojia who won't ask questions after getting an explanation is a real good friend. She won't hurt Lin Luoran anyway, so she believes that Lin Luoran won't hurt her either. They look at each other and smile. Baojia suddenly realizes and pretends to be angry. Don't wait for later. I can't wait for a minute to become beautiful. Baojia gets off the car and holds the small tomatoes in her arms. She asks Lin Luoran if she can eat them directly. Baojia guesses that Lin Luoran will say that eating vegetables and fruits for a long time will improve her skin. She doesn't even bother to wash them. She eats them one by one in the car. Sweet and sour, fresh and delicious. The juice splashes after one bite. It is indeed a rare delicacy. The car starts. Baojia still has a small tomato in her mouth. Lin Luoran then remembers, "Where did you say you were going?" Baojia is eating, which greatly affects her queen temperament. She answers vaguely while driving, "Where can I go?" "Of course, I'm going to help you find a job." "Well, it's so delicious." Baojia holds the steering wheel with one hand and drives through the traffic. Lin Luoran is worried. If she asks Baojia again, she is afraid that Baojia will be more distracted. However, she can't help thinking. Chapter 8. However, Baojia stops in a warehouse with weeds growing at the door and the paint on the door is peeling off. Except for the car marks on the muddy ground at the door, there are many vehicles going in and out of this place. This warehouse is really creepy. Baojia, although I don't mind being a worker on the assembly line, this place is so desolate. Can I get paid on time? Lin Luoran plucks up her courage and puts forward her opinion. Baojia wipes the tomato juice on her mouth and raises her eyebrows. "What do you think?" Lin Luoran shrinks her neck. The wild ginseng in the space will take some time. Since Baojia has found a job, she should just work first. She is so picky. Now she only has 1,300 yuan left. They get out of the car and enter the gate. Lin Luoran finds that the yard is quite spacious. There are many cars parked behind the red-painted gate. Some of them are tacky for the rich, but they are expensive for Lin Luoran. There are also some cars with a logo that she can't recognize. Lin Luoran finds them familiar, but she can't name them. Anyway, they must be expensive. However, at this moment, the well-dressed car owners were all surrounding a large truck, fighting over some stones that looked different from the others with flushed faces. "What are they doing around a pile of stones?" Lin Luoran asks Baojia curiously. Baojia takes Lin Luoran to walk around the crowd and the truck to the warehouse. Baojia explains while walking, "I've never eaten pork before, but I've never seen a pig running. Aren't those TV shows and novels all over the place? Those ugly stones are raw jade stones, and a group of people are gambling on stones." Lin Luoran is curious and surprised. She asks in a low voice, "There is stone gambling in our city? Isn't it all in Yunnan and Myanmar? Where there are people, there is a market. Where there is a market, there is a demand. It's not strange." Baojia glances at Lin Luoran and explains. Lin Luoran wants to ask more, but Baojia shushes her. "Let's finish the work first." "Well, I was worried about you before. Now look at you. I'm sure you will be fine." Baojia looks Lin Luoran up and down as if she is very satisfied with her appearance. Baojia takes Lin Luoran into the warehouse. Lin Luoran finds that the machines are roaring. It seems to be an operation workshop. Baojia walked around and found the person she was looking for. In the workshop, several cutting machines were operating at full power to cut the raw stones. Dust was everywhere. A man in his 30s, wearing gold-rimmed glasses, with his hair covered in dust, was looking at a stone under the cutting machine with some concern. "Master Lu." Baojia raised her voice and waved her hands. Lu Zheng wipes the dust on his glasses and sees that it is Baojia with a woman he doesn't know. She has a good temperament but looks too young. She is in her early 20s at most. She doesn't look like Baojia's classmate at all. He was a businessman. If he wasn't sure, he wouldn't give others an excuse to talk about him. His smile was like a spring breeze. Since the two beauties have arrived, this stone should have turned green by now, right? "Baojia, who is this?" Baojia is also concerned about the situation under the cutting machine. "This is my friend Lin Luoran. Lun, this is Lu Zheng, your future boss." Lin Luoran smiles awkwardly. She doesn't know what kind of job Baojia is going to introduce to her. Lu Zheng didn't say that he had to hire her, but Baojia introduced him as the boss. It seems that she is very familiar with Lu Zheng. When did this little girl get to know such a person? It seems that she needs to interrogate him. Lin Luoran is thinking about all these. Hearing Baojia's introduction, she still takes the initiative to say hello. Mr. Lu, I'm Lin Luoran. Sorry about that. Lu Zheng's eyes didn't stay on Lin Luoran for too long. He nodded and said, Miss Lin, let's talk about the job later. Let's take a look at this stone first. Lin Luoran smiles and nods. Baojia is already saying, Master Lu, this is a good stone. It would be too unlucky if there is no green in it. How much did you make this time? Lu Zheng smiles bitterly. The first few pieces are all ruined. Fortunately, I got some raw materials in the Burmese territory, or there would be no rice to cook. Lin Luoran has never seen stone gambling in person. The price of jade has been rising in the past 2 years. Ordinary citizens have seen enough novels and TV shows to know what stone gambling is. Now it seems that Lu Zheng is also in the jewelry business. Thinking of Li Anping's new girlfriend, Lin Luoran feels that the job Baojia found for her seems to be full of variables. Just as she is thinking about this, Baojia's happy voice comes, there is green. It seems that we are really lucky. Lin Luoran also turns her head to look. The cutter is watering a third of the stone cut. After a few handfuls of water, the green texture of the stone is revealed. Even Lin Luoran, a layman, can see that the green color is very comfortable. Lu Zheng also smiles and says, yes, the price of this stone is high. When the green is out, we can eat it deeper. We can earn back some of the money we spent on the first few pieces. The cut of the stone is as big as a big bowl. Lu Zheng says that the price of the stone is high. It is really easy to get rich in stone gambling. Lu Zheng asks the workers to move the stone to the truck. He is ready to go back to his place to continue cutting. When he is done, he hands Lin Luoran a business card. Miss Lin, would you like to work in my company? Treasure House is written on the business card. There is a phone number made up of a string of numbers. There is not even a title. Lin Luoran has some impression of this treasure house. It has several branches in our city. It seems to compete with Fortune House in terms of store size and products. Lin Luoran pays special attention to this information when Li Anping first entered Fortune House. Mr. Lu, Baojia didn't say what she wants to do. Do you think I am suitable? Although Lin Luoran doesn't want to work in the same industry as Li Anping, they are obviously in two different camps. Lin Luoran can't refuse Baojia's kindness. She must take the initiative to fight for it. Lu Zheng smiles. Baojia wants you to be in the jewelry business. What do you think? Jewelry business? Lin Luoran is asked to sell glittering jewelry? All women love jewelry. Lin Luoran is a little tempted. Baojia pushes her. You look like you. Wearing jewelry is a promotion. I am sure you can do it. Encouraged by Baojia, Lin Luoran notices that Lu Zheng is also waiting for her answer. She thinks for a while and says with certainty, I have no experience, but I will try my best. Don't worry, Mr. Lu. Lin Luoran can tell that Lu Zheng cares about the person introduced by Baojia. He is also satisfied with Lin Luoran's appearance. Hearing that Lin Luoran agrees, everyone is happy. When Lu Zheng is about to tell Lin Luoran something, a female voice comes from the door of the workshop. The voice is a little high and the target is Baojia. Chapter 9. She has been standing at the door for a while. As the designer of Fortune House, Qin Baojia not only introduced jobs to Li Anping's ex-girlfriend, but also to Lu's, the archenemy of Fortune House. This is a slap in the face in the industry. If she could tolerate this kind of thing, her surname wouldn't be AI. Seeing that Ellie and Li Anping are here, Baojia doesn't panic at all. She just looks at Lin with worry. Lin Luoran also recognizes the voice of Li Anping's new girlfriend. Maybe Li Anping is also here. Enemies are bound to meet on a narrow road. Seeing the worry in Baojia's eyes, she smiles at her, indicating that she can face it. Lu Zheng pushed up the glasses on his nose and said with a smile, Miss AI, I don't like to hear that. It's true that there are competitors in the same trade, but not enemies, right? Ellie walks quickly in her high heels and ignores Lu Zheng. She looks at Baojia with disdain. Qin Baojia, shouldn't you give me an explanation? Li Anping also says, Baojia, Thank you for introducing me to Fortune House. We don't have to do this for private affairs. Luran's parents used to be very kind to me. For this reason, I can also introduce her to a job. Baojia waves her hand proudly and disdainfully. Lianping, Sister Wang can't afford to be friends with a man like you. I was blind and unlucky to introduce you to Fortune House. Lianping's face changes. He looks at the person who doesn't even turn around. He knows that it is Lin Luoran just by looking at her back. He says angrily, Lin Luoran, are you going to keep your back to us? Do you have any manners at all? Even Lu Zheng, who didn't understand the situation, couldn't help but frown. Baojia is about to explode in anger, but Lin Luoran grabs Baojia's hand and smiles. Mr. Lu, I'm so sorry to let you see this. Ever since she ate that miraculous fruit, not only did she feel lighter and more relaxed, she often felt that her mind was clear and her mind was especially calm. She was able to think more comprehensively. If she hadn't eaten the fruit, she would have been at a loss when she met Lianping again. But now Lin Luoran turns around and looks at Lianping. She doesn't reveal her thoughts at all. Lianping is stunned. The person in front of him is like Lin Luoran when she was 17 years old. Her eyes are sparkling like stars in the sky. At the time, they were sitting on the lawn of the university campus. Lianping covered her eyes with his hands and said, I want to pluck this star. Lianping can't remember what Lin Luoran said at that time. However, at this moment, Lin Luoran is even more lively than when she was a girl. He clearly remembers that she was haggard a few days ago. He also clearly remembers that she is 27 years old this year. How can she suddenly become young again? Lianping, you can't walk after seeing your old lover? Lianping was still absent-minded. Ali's cold snort woke him up. Yes, so what if she became beautiful? There were many beautiful women in this world, but it was not easy to find a beautiful woman like Ali who came from a wealthy family. Lianping comforts himself in this way, deliberately ignoring the amazement when he meets Lin Luoran again and the guilt when he remembers that Ellie is a beauty. Baojia, we have a job. Let's go, shall we? Lin Luoran says lightly. Lin Luoran sees them but pretends not to see them. She is so hateful now. Lianping feels indignant, but he can't say anything because of Ellie's mood. Baojia can't wait to leave this couple. She is happy to accept Lin Luoran's suggestion. Master Lu, I'll contact you later. Baojia takes Lin Luoran's hand and walks out. Ellie is ignored from the beginning to the end. She is so angry that she can't pretend to be generous anymore. She screams, Qin Baojia, don't go too far. Do you still want your job? Lin Luoran is a little hesitant. Ellie is right. After all, Baojia is still working in Fortune House. If she does this, Baojia will make things difficult for her in the future. The daughter of Fortune House was indeed a vengeful person. Baojia squeezes Ellie's hand and turns around at the door. She looks at Ellie with a faint smile. Manager Ellie, I submitted my resignation letter early in the morning. Didn't you see it? She doesn't give time for Ellie and Lianping to react. She is afraid that Ellie is not angry enough. Baojia pretends to be enlightened. I almost forget that Manager Ellie is busy dating her subordinate. She has no time to read the resignation letter. Alas. Ellie's face turns cold. She grabs her bag so hard that her knuckles turn white. Lianping's face is full of anger and resentment. As for Lu Zheng, his eyes under the gold-rimmed glasses are full of smiles. They walk out of the warehouse. Lin Luoran suddenly feels that even the sky is blue when she doesn't see Lianping and others. She should blame herself for being deceived by such a man. It's not a bad thing for him to cheat on her earlier. She is lucky to have seen through him earlier. Baojia vented her anger and smiled. She pointed at the people who were bidding loudly and suggested, your future job is jewelry sales. Let's go and see them gambling on stones. It's good for you to broaden your knowledge. Baojia's face was full of smiles. She pointed at the group of people who were bidding loudly. Lin Luoran is actually curious. She thinks Baojia's words are reasonable. If she really goes to sell jewelry, it will be unreasonable for her to know nothing about jade, which is becoming more and more popular now. 800,000 yuan. I want this stone. As soon as Lin and Lianping approach, they hear a fat man shouting confidently. A gold necklace as thick as a girl's little finger is shining on his neck, dazzling Lin Luoran's eyes. It's just hearsay. It's an eye-opener for Lin Luoran to see someone spend 800,000 yuan to buy a raw stone with no idea whether there is jade in it. After all, the life of an ordinary citizen is so different from this. Fatty Chui, how dare you talk so shamelessly with 800,000 yuan? I offer 900,000 yuan. A woman in her early 40s is bidding against the fat man with the gold necklace. She also has a round waist and looks tanned and strong. However, she offers 900,000 yuan. Fatty Chui is so angry that the fat on his face is shaking. He wants to lose his temper, but he forcibly suppresses it. No one knows what he is worried about. After struggling for a long time, he grits his teeth and says, 950,000 yuan. The onlookers all laugh and don't say anything. They just wait for the two to bid. Sure enough, the tanned woman offers a high price of 1 million yuan without blinking her eyes. Even the owner of the raw stone standing next to the truck is smiling. Lin Luoran finally sees something. Seeing that Bao Jia is also trying to hold back her laughter, she asks quietly, "Who are they?" Bao Jia coughs and lowers her voice. They are husband and wife. Both her family and her husband's family are engaged in the jade business. Mrs. Chui only has one daughter to inherit the family business. Every time they come to the raw stone yard, they bicker like a play. Everyone in the industry knows that Mrs. Chui will definitely fight for the stone that Mr. Chui likes. Lin Luoran laughs. There are so many strange things in the world. Looking at the arguing fat couple, an idea flashes through Lin Luoran's mind. It is often said in novels that jade has reiki. Lin Luoran can see the reiki of plants. What about jade? Her heart was beating a little fast. Once this thought popped up, she couldn't suppress it no matter what. Chapter 10. Mrs. Chui spits and widens her eyes. Are you mad? Can you get a divorce? But her actions are vulgar. Nobody knows how Fatty Chui can stand it. Mrs. Chui doesn't continue to raise the price because of her swearing. Fatty Chui breathes a sigh of relief and doesn't care about her muttering, "I'm not a fool. It's better for you to suffer a great loss." This is a raw stone with an open window. Fatty Chui takes a picture from the opening for a long time and looks at the appearance of the stone. It's certain that there is jade in it, but he doesn't know how much there is. That's why he dares to bid a high price of more than 1 million. As long as the jade in it is not too bad and cracked, Fatty Chui can cut it into a bracelet. Fatty Chui won't suffer a loss at the price of 1,050,000 yuan. Lin Luoran stares at it. The outer skin of the raw stone is very hard and there is no instrument to detect it. That's why it can be gambled. Lin Luoran doesn't want to detect it through the outer skin of the raw stone. Instead, she stares at the stone bought by Fatty Chui and wants to feel if there is any trace of reiki inside. At first, she can only see the black outer skin. As she concentrates, she feels that there seems to be something inside the stone responding to her. Is it white mist? There is a mass of white mist rolling in the center of the stone bought by Fatty Chui. The black outer skin locks the white mist inside. It takes Lin Luoran a lot of effort to see it clearly. She doesn't know what kind of jade is inside, but the white mist is obviously a kind of reiki. The moment she sees the white mist, the bead on her wrist beats slightly as if it is very happy. Before she can react, it shoots a thin wisp of mist to the stone bought by Fatty Chui. Lin Luoran is startled. The light mist passes right in front of Fatty Chui's eyes, but Fatty Chui doesn't seem to see anything. Fortunately, ordinary people can't see the linear mist like moonlight emitted by the bead. Lin Luoran finally lets out a sigh of relief. The mist of light from the bead easily passes through the outer skin of the raw stone and meets the white mist inside. The white mist is like a child who has found its lost family. Lin knows that it is lifeless, but she has an illusion that the white mist seems to be happy and telling. The mist of light emitted by the bead starts to absorb the white mist. Lin Luoran doesn't know how to stop it. She is very anxious. If reiki is absorbed and Fatty Chui finds that the jade has turned into stone, even if he doesn't know who did it, Lin Luoran's conscience will be blamed. Lin Luoran is anxious, but she doesn't notice her abnormality today. She has been watching for a long time, but her eyes don't feel dry like that day when she saw the reiki of the fleece flower and the hibiscus flower. The white fog is finally absorbed by the bead. Lin Luoran wants to cry but has no tears. She feels sorry for Fatty Chui, but there is nothing she can do. The bead seems to feel its master's uneasiness, so it reluctantly spits out some mist. It is also white, but different from the rolling white mist before. It is no longer rolling, but very quiet and gentle, making people feel very amiable and comfortable. Only then does the bead retract its light speed and stay quietly on Lin Luoran's wrist. Nothing unusual can be seen. Lin Luoran can finally put her mind at ease. Fatty Chui still doesn't know that the jade inside the raw stone he bought has changed. Judging from the peaceful white mist of the bead, this change should not be a bad thing. Lin Luoran not only proves that the jade has reiki, but she can also see this reiki, even if it is hidden under the outer skin of the raw stone, which can't be detected by modern machines. Is it also an opportunity to make a fortune? This is the first thought that comes to Lin Luoran's mind. Lin Luoran is not afraid to say that she is greedy. 2 weeks ago, she was an old woman who was abandoned by her boyfriend and lost her job, let alone the magical space. If survival is a problem, a person really can't care about her temperament. Baojia notices that Lin Luoran is staring at Fatty Chui's stone without blinking. Baojia smiles and asks, "What? Do you want to gamble on stones?" Lin Luoran has the ability, but she doesn't have the capital. She smiles and says, "You know my net worth. How can I afford these stones with only 1,000 yuan?" Baojia laughs. The owner of the material yard who just sold a stone to Fatty Chui and made hundreds of thousands of yuan is in a good mood. Seeing that Lin Luoran is beautiful, he thinks that Lin Luoran is joking when she says that she still has 1,000 yuan. He points to a pile of stones the size of watermelons in the corner and says, "There is no bidding over there. 500 yuan for each stone. You can choose whatever you want. Beauties, you can try your luck there." Baojia raises her eyebrows. "Mr. Zhang, are you kidding me? 500 yuan for each stone. All the waste materials you have picked out over the years are piled up there." Baojia knows about Lin Luoran's situation. She guesses that she is probably telling the truth when she says that she still has 1,000 yuan left. Baojia regrets that she didn't think it through, so she wants to help Lin Luoran skip this topic. Fatty Chui seems to know Baojia. He rubs his hands and says, "Designer Qin, 500 yuan for each stone is just for fun. How can Mr. Zhang step down if you behave like this? Fatty Chui, if you have money, why don't you buy all of them and cut them for fun?" Mrs. Chui has been annoyed by Fatty Chui's words for a long time. Hearing this, she snorts. Fatty Chui smiles awkwardly and stops talking. Someone yells, "Fatty Chui, are you going to cut the stones or not? Just cut them. It's more fun to cut stones on the spot." "You're right. Hey, my stones were ruined just now." "Mr. Zhang, the stones you pulled this time are so lousy." Fatty Chui tries his best to shoot out a fierce light from his eyes. He swears at the people around him, "Cut your head. You've been watching the show for a long time. I haven't asked you for the tickets yet. Mr. Zhang, please ask some workers to help. I'll take all these stones home and cut them myself." Fatty Chui directs people to pull the stones. The crowd laughs and the scene suddenly becomes chaotic. When no one is paying attention, Lin Luoran runs to the pile of stones in the corner with Baojia. She squats down and looks at them carefully. "Are you really going to gamble on stones? These stones are all waste materials picked out by Mr. Zhang over the years. Besides, it's only 500 yuan. It's really not worth gambling." Baojia is not a talkative person. She talks like this to help Lin Luoran save money. Seeing that Lin Luoran is concentrating on the stones, she unconsciously stops talking. Baojia is stunned for a moment. As long as Lin Luoran is happy, she can gamble on stones. If there is no food, how can she watch her starve to death? While Baojia is thinking about this, Lin Luoran turns around and looks up at her with sparkling eyes. Chapter 11. Baojia looks at the 4 stones picked out by Lin Luoran's feet and doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. Well, 1,000 yuan is nothing. Baojia takes out 2,000 yuan from her wallet and is ready to pay for Lin Luoran's share. Lin Luoran just smiles and doesn't take her money. Baojia scolds, stubborn. Knowing Lin Luoran, she has to take the money. Lin Luoran runs to Mr. Zhang to pay the bill. Baojia looks at the 4 watermelon-sized stones at her feet and feels helpless. Beauty, you have a good eye. The stones you picked are all round. Mr. Zhang glances at the stones picked out by Lin Luoran and gives a very pertinent comment. Everyone laughs. It can be seen that most of them are kind and not mocking. This is the advantage of beauty. Lin Luoran can't help blushing. She runs to Baojia with a blushing face. Let's cut it here. I don't know how to open it when we go back. Baojia rolls her eyes. It seems that she will lose face with her friend today. What can she get from the 500 yuan jade? Thinking so, Baojia still helps Lin Luoran to carry the stones. Lin Luoran feels that she has grown a lot recently. She can carry 1 stone in one hand without feeling heavy. Baojia carries the bag in one hand and only 1 stone in the other. Mrs. Cui steps forward. Oh, how can you men let 2 little girls carry stones here? Then she helps Baojia to carry the remaining stone. Her words make all the men present sweat. There is also a cutting equipment in the place where raw materials are sold. Lin Luoran puts down her 2 stones. She feels that Mrs. Cui looks dark and fat, but she looks nice. Baojia also smiles gratefully to Mrs. Cui. Mrs. Cui is rich. She can't have any plot for these 2 grassroots girls. Naturally, she is sincere to help them. Everyone is embarrassed by Mrs. Cui's words. At this time, they all ask Mr. Zhang to help the 2 little girls cut the stones. Lin Luoran knows the stones she picked by herself. They are watermelon-sized stones. If they are cut in the middle by Mr. Zhang, there will be nothing left. She is about to negotiate with Mr. Zhang when Lu Jing comes out of the workshop. Seeing them huddled together, he pushes his glasses. Are you still here? Baojia glares at him. Luoran and I are cutting stones for fun. She is too embarrassed to say that they are cutting stones. Lin Luoran doesn't care. Seeing that Lu Jing is here, she says generously, Mr. Lu, do you accept jade raw materials? Before Lu Jing could say anything, Ellie and Li Anping followed him out. Ali was also here to cut open the stone. Recently, the price of jade raw materials had skyrocketed. Many companies could not afford to buy jade raw materials directly. The most important thing was that you couldn't buy the goods even if you had the money. Stone gambling was full of uncertainties, but it was also a way for the jewelry company to relieve the supply pressure. Fortune House also wins a batch of raw materials this time, but Ellie doesn't get any jade today. Tens of millions of yuan are wasted. Everyone is angry. Looking at the shabby Lin Luoran and Qin Baojia who humiliates her in public, Ellie can finally vent her anger. Even a 5 million yuan stone is white. How can there be jade in 500 stones? Do you think jadeite is as cheap as mud in your hometown? Ai Li raised the corner of her mouth, looking very arrogant. Before Lin Luoran says anything, she offends Mr. Zhang again. Although everyone knows that cutting raw stones worth 500 yuan is just for fun, Ellie's words mean that all the raw materials sold here are not good. Mr. Zhang is afraid that people will talk about this batch of raw materials because there is not much jade in them. He is very dissatisfied with Ellie's words. Although Fortune House is a big business, all the people here are in the jewelry business. They are rivals in the same trade, so they don't have to listen to Ellie. Most of them don't like Ellie's sarcasm. Everyone has the same thought. They are still smiling, but they unconsciously turn their faces to Lin Luoran and Baojia. Beauty, I haven't had enough today. If there is jade in these 500 yuan, can you sell it to me? Fatty Chui's face is full of wrinkles when he smiles. He looks quite cute at this moment. Lin Luoran despises herself in her heart. Seeing that someone is speaking for her, she immediately changes her opinion of him. My surname is Lin, and I am Baojia. You should know her. Lin Luoran has been called Beauty all the time, so she has to introduce herself. Fatty Chui nods, yes, of course. Who doesn't know the great designer Qin? Right, madam? Ellie just says that there is no jade in 500 yuan. Fatty Chui immediately says that he wants to buy the cut jade. He is not only helping Lin Luoran out, but also trying to please Mrs. Chui. Mrs. Chui glares at him. Everyone laughs. It seems that the couple is very loving at other times, even though they gamble on stones. Ellie has more vicious words to say, but no one pays attention to her. She holds Li Anping's hand and pinches Li Anping's arm until it is bruised. Her anger turns into laughter. Let's just watch here. You can get jade from 500 yuan. Miss Lin will really be a magic hand in the industry in the future. Even a god can't tell an inch of jade. This is obviously a compliment. Lin Luoran doesn't want to talk to her now. Facts speak louder than words. She puts the jade in front of her. Miss Lin, do you want to cut or rub these 2 stones? Of course. I will tell you where to cut. Mr. Zhang, can you help me? Lin Luoran pretends to be curious. She picks up the pen handed to her by Mrs. Chui and draws a line on 2/3 of the watermelon stone. Mr. Zhang says yes and points the cutting knife at the line Lin Luoran says. The cutting knife cuts the raw stone, making a harsh sound. Stone dust splashes everywhere. Originally, everyone has no expectation for the stone of 500 yuan. To put it bluntly, it is better to look at the 2 beautiful women with different styles. However, after being ridiculed by Ellie, everyone is looking forward to a miracle with Lin Luoran's stone. Even if there is a little jade in it, it will be a slap in the face of the daughter of Fortune House. As the owner of the stone, Lin Luoran is also a little nervous. Although she has known the result, it doesn't mean that she can face it calmly. After all, this is just a raw stone the size of a watermelon. No matter whether people want it to have jade or not, it will take a while to cut it. The buzzing sound of the cutting knife stops, and the raw stone is cut in 2. People present can't help but look at the larger stone first. It is all white. This stone really can't have jade. Everyone knows that they can't expect it, but at this time, they feel a little disappointed for some reason. Only Ellie laughs. The poor are not ridiculous. It is ridiculous to daydream about getting rich in a day. Before Lin Luoran says anything, Mr. Zhang raises his eyes and says, Miss Ellie, don't talk nonsense. Miss Lin's stone has a jade. Chapter 12. Li Anping also frowns and says, Mr. Zhang, everyone can see it clearly. It's just a white stone. There is no green. Even Baojia doesn't believe that the stone can rise in value. Only Lin Luoran, the owner of the stone, and Mr. Zhang, the former owner, are sure that the stone does rise in value. Because of the angle and common sense, everyone's eyes are on the bigger one. Seeing that no one believes him, Mr. Zhang's hands are shaking. He picks up the small piece and brushes off the dust on it. Everyone's eyeballs almost fall out. Green? Mrs. Chui can't believe it. It's apple green, close to the ice type. Mr. Zhang nods and gives a rough judgment. His hands are shaking. On the one hand, it's because of the precision of the cut. On the other hand, he is a little regretful. This stone has been in the yard for at least 5 years. My God, such a good material has been exposed to the wind in the yard for 5 years. Why didn't he think of cutting everything? Shopkeeper Zhang poured some water on the cut surface of the stone, and now the breathtaking green color was finally revealed in its entirety. The cut surface of this piece of jade actually looked so wonderful. The whole cut surface was full of green, forming a round cut surface with a diameter of 15 centimeters. It could also be that this stone in the courtyard was exposed to the wind and rain. If anyone was bored and casually rubbed it, the green that was so close to the outer shell would definitely be rubbed out. Baojia laughs the most happily. You got a good deal. Ali did not give up. She sneered and said, it's better to cut a line than choose a side. It's too early to laugh. Fatty Chui looks at the green. It seems that the water level is good. If it is a little bit thicker, a bracelet can definitely be cut out from the center. 1 million. Miss Lin, do you want to sell it? Fatty Chui asks happily. That's the way of doing business. Only with risks can there be gains. If only a thin piece is cut out, Fatty Chui can only blame himself. The capital of 500 yuan is 1 million after one cut. The value has increased by 2,000 times. Baojia knows the risk of stone gambling. It is widely known in the industry that one cut makes one rich and one poor. She also knows Lin Luoran's situation. She thinks 1 million is enough. Lin Luoran receives Baojia's hint and gives her a reassuring look. Mr. Zhang, can you help me cut out the whole stone? This jade has more than one layer. Lin Luoran decides to cut it out and sell it. Then you can't cut it anymore. You have to rely on rubbing the stone. Boss Zhang didn't let others take over and still rubbed the stone by himself. Those in this line of work were obsessed with these raw stones, which was not something that laymen could understand. It was very common for big bosses to personally cut open the stones. Lin Luoran smiles at Fatty Chui apologetically. If Mr. Chui still wants it, I will sell it to you first. Fatty Chui waves his hand and doesn't care. Although it will be much more expensive if he buys them after they are all unraveled, there is no risk at all. He buys and sells openly. Everyone hoards good materials. Fatty Chui will only complain that there are too many of them. Rubbing stones was a delicate job, so it naturally took much longer than cutting stones. However, the people present were all in this line of work. Many of them had spent a few days studying how to cut stones, so they could afford to wait. While Boss Zhang is rubbing the stone, Fatty Chui and Mrs. Chui start to talk with Lin Luoran. The others are also talking about this year's public bid in Myanmar. A piece of violet jade was sold at a sky-high price of nearly 200 million yuan. Lu Zheng also says, there is too much hot money in this year's Myanmar public bid. Wenzhou Group and Shangxi Boss all chartered flights to increase the hype, which made us jewelry makers cry and laugh at the same time. Lin Luoran doesn't understand these things at all, so she just listens with a smile. Baojia can still say a few words. Mrs. Chui sees that they can't talk, so she changes the topic to beauty and skincare. Sister, how did you take care of it? Mrs. Chui is dark-skinned and works in the material yard all year round. She is a woman and a man. She is very envious of Lin Luoran's smooth skin. Lin Luoran is embarrassed. She can't tell Mrs. Chui that she became like this because she ate a magical fruit, can she? Ellie and Li Anping stand outside the crowd. All women love to be beautiful. In fact, she also wants to know how Lin Luoran did it. It has only been a few days. How can she get such an effect without changing her skin all over? Li Anping is very upset. Just now, a boss has offered a price of 1 million yuan for Lin Luoran's stone. If he had 1 million yuan earlier, he could have bought a house in our city. If Lin Luoran was as beautiful as she is now, would he be willing to leave her? Ellie and Li Anping have their own thoughts, but Baojia helps Lin Luoran out. Mrs. Chui, Luoran told me that eating more green vegetables and having enough sleep will make my mood better. My skin will naturally be better. Mrs. Chui glares. Don't call me Mrs. I don't want to listen to such elegant words. Just call me Sister Wang. Fatty, we will also buy vegetables from old farmers. If the vegetables have been sprayed with pesticides, you will be in trouble. Mrs. Chui, no, Sister Wang not only sets the title, but also gives Fatty Chui a deadly task. Fatty Chui gets the order from his wife. He almost agrees with her, which makes Lin Luoran and Baojia laugh. The few of them chatted and laughed, and time slipped away unknowingly. It is a good material. Miss Lin, you picked it well. I have nothing to say. The one who spoke was Boss Zhang, who had been working hard. While everyone was chatting, Boss Zhang had already cut out the whole piece of jade material. Hearing that it is a good material, everyone gathers around to have a look. It is not Lin Luoran and Baojia who run in the front, but Ellie and Li Anping. Both of them are unwilling to give up. What appears in front of everyone is a piece of jade with a base of 13 or 14 centimeters and a thickness of 7 or 8 centimeters. It is round at the bottom and small at the top. This is the shape of the raw stone. It seems that after peeling off the outer layer, the inside is basically jade. After the jade is washed in a basin, it shines in the sun. Although it is apple green, the type has reached the ice type. It has a good head, no cracks, and no obvious spongy in the middle. It is indeed a good material. Someone is calculating how to cut the material. The small side is not the tip of a cone, but the arc of a big circle. How many bracelets should they take out? How many egg noodle and other ornaments can they take out from the rest? For million yuan. It is a boss with a Guangzhou accent. Nobody knows why he comes to our city inland to look for goods. Sister Wang puts her hands on her hips and says with contempt, "You think the little girl is ignorant? How dare you ask for 4 million yuan? I offer 5 million yuan." The Guangzhou boss is exposed, but he doesn't get angry. He feels helpless about Sister Wang's offer of 1 million yuan. He says in Mandarin with a Cantonese accent, "Miao yi, how can you do business like this?" The Guangzhou boss accidentally calls out Sister Wang's maiden name. Seeing that Fatty Chui is rubbing his hands, he can only leave, rubbing his nose. Husband and wife soldiers going into battle, wasn't this bullying? Lu Zheng also seems to be interested in this material. Seeing that the Guangzhou boss stops bidding, he offers 5 million yuan. It is a lie to say that they are not excited. Money moves people's hearts. There are not many chances to get 5 million yuan for free, except for winning a lottery. Lin Luoran smiles happily. Baojia murmurs to herself. She completely forgets that Lin Luoran has chosen 2 raw stones for her. She is just happy for her friend. She feels that Lin Luoran's bitterness is finally over. As for Li Anping, every increase in the price is like cutting off his flesh. After he got together with Ailey, he only looked good on the surface. Although Ailey often gave him branded clothes, he still had to return the gifts. In just half a month, other than a pile of clothes that he could only wear, he had used up all his cards. Now, he was in negative equity. Chapter 13. Lin Luoran remembers that she promised to sell the jade to Fatty Chui first. She also knows that Fatty Chui and his wife are not in charge of the same business. Otherwise, she can sell it to Sister Wang. Lin Luoran smiles apologetically to her future boss, Lu Zheng. "Mr. Chui, I've agreed to sell it to you. 5 million. What do you think?" 5 million is the price offered by Wang Miao. If Lu Zheng also offers 5 million. Lin Luoran still wants to sell it to Fatty Chui for 5 million because she is a trustworthy person. They are all businessmen. Honesty is the key to long-term business. Lu Zheng secretly approves Lin Luoran's behavior. Although 500,000 is not a lot, not everyone can turn it down in the blink of an eye. If they can't do it themselves, they will naturally admire those who can. This is a very simple truth. Ellie curls her lips in disdain. This woman is really good at behaving. She buys people's hearts with only 500,000. Li Anping thinks that the money originally belongs to him. Seeing Lin Luoran casually offers 500,000, he secretly scolds Lin Luoran for being a spendthrift and being ungrateful. Although Fatty Chui looks vulgar and wears a dazzling gold chain, he knows that Lin Luoran is so good at behaving, so he naturally can't be stingy. "What kind of person do you think I am?" Mr. Lu said 5 million. If I, Fatty Chui, buy it for 5 million today, the whole circle will say that I bullied the little girl tomorrow. "Miss Lin, Sister Lin, 6 million is a fixed price. Consider it as making friends." Everyone is stunned. Only Wang Miao knows Fatty Chui best. She claps her hands and says, "That's the son-in-law of the Wang family. Sister Lin, it's a deal." Fatty Chui argues in a low voice, "She is the daughter-in-law of the Chui family. What else can Lin Luoran say when she meets such a generous couple?" She sells the jade to Fatty Chui for 6 million, but she remembers this favor in her heart. Although Lin Luoran lives a poor life, online banking is a necessity in the metropolis. Fatty Chui receives the jade and transfers 6 million to Lin Luoran's account immediately. Lin Luoran counts a string of numbers in her account. The number starts with the number 6 and is followed by 6 zeros. Is she already well off? Everything that happened today is a little unreal. Lin Luoran is still in a daze. She finally feels it is real when she sees that the number of the account owner is her name. "Baojia, cut your cloth too." If 2 pieces of waste were to produce jade, it would be a bit shocking. However, the 2 of them were not earth-shattering materials, so they were not afraid of people coveting them. The most important thing is that Lin Luoran feels that she is walking on a completely different path from ordinary people. She will definitely go further and further in the future. Now, she is confident that she will not be afraid of people who want to harm her. Baojia is very happy for Lin Luoran. Hearing that Lin Luoran is going to cut the 2 pieces under her feet, she lets her be. Boss Zhang took a deep drag on his cigarette and patted the worker beside him. Boy, go help designer Qin move the stones. Old Zhang, want to get some luck from Miss Lin and cut a few more times. A raw stone of Baojia is put on the cutting machine. Mr. Zhang asks Lin Luoran where to cut it. In his eyes, Lin Luoran is unbelievably lucky today. One side of the stone is white and the other side is green jade. The difference is not even 1 centimeter. Lin Luoran's line is really amazing. Lin Luoran knows the situation of this stone, but it is already under Baojia's name, so she asks Baojia for her opinion. Baojia doesn't expect the stone to produce jade, so she asks Mr. Zhang to cut it from the middle. Mr. Zhang aims at the middle line. As expected, after cutting, both sides are white, without any green. He cuts the stone again. The watermelon-sized stone becomes the size of a big orange, and it is still white. Obviously, there is no hope for this stone. Ellie also breathes a sigh of relief. She says to Li Anping, some people really think that they are the hand of God. This time, Lin Luoran takes a deep look at her. Lin Luoran's eyes are clear. She is dressed cheaply, but she is as beautiful as the bright moon. At first glance, Ellie feels a sense of inferiority. This is also the reason why Ellie is so mean today. Lin Luoran, the rival in love she disdained a few days ago, has changed so much in the blink of an eye. Baojia doesn't care. Anyway, Lin Luoran gets 6 million yuan, which makes her happier than herself. She takes the initiative to move the remaining stone to the cutting machine. She wants to finish the cutting as soon as possible so that she can celebrate with Lin Luoran. This time, Lin Luoran asks Mr. Zhang to cut from 3 centimeters on one side. Seeing Baojia's cautiousness, everyone is curious. Can this stone produce jade? They all stare at the waste in Mr. Zhang's hand. Alas, how can it be? 500 yuan can produce a 6 million yuan jade material. The Cantonese guy says in his heart. Baojia's friend is interesting. This is what Lu Jing thinks. Everyone has their own thoughts. Finally, Mr. Zhang cuts the stone. What the hell? It's green again. The Cantonese guy exclaims. He even forgets to speak Mandarin. Cantonese comes out, and only the word green can be heard. Will you sell it for 500,000 yuan, miss? The Cantonese guy comes to himself and offers a price. Lin Luoran says to Baojia with a smile, let's cut it all out. Baojia is stunned. She doesn't realize that it is the stone under her name. She nods repeatedly. The expression on Mr. Zhang's face is very complicated. It is a happy thing that the stone in his field has jade. If he is happy, he will sell such a good stone for 500 yuan each. Li Anping is stunned. How can the woman who has lived with him for so many years suddenly have the ability to turn stone into jade? Lin Lung, you hid it from me for so long. Li Anping's doubts turn into resentment in the end. Ellie doesn't even want to watch it anymore. The longer she stays, the more embarrassed she is. She pulls Li Anping away without looking back. Baojia's jade material is also cut out by Mr. Zhang. It is not as big as Lin Luoran's. It is the size of an orange, but it is quite round. The Cantonese guy raises the price to 1.8 million yuan. Baojia and Lin Luoran both want to sell it to him. However, Lu Jing pushes his glasses and adds another 200,000 yuan. Of course, he won't let the fat water flow out. However, this is not the most lively place. Fatty Chui and others have already run to the pile of watermelon stones in the yard that no one has paid attention to for hundreds of years and start to fight for them. 500 yuan each, I will buy them all. Fatty Chui shakes the fat on his neck and spreads his hands to protect the raw stones like the wings of an eagle. Fatty Chui, don't be too greedy. I will pay 600 yuan. Mr. Zhang's expression changes. He throws the cigarette butt on the ground and steps on it to put it out. Do you all think I am a fool? Lin Luoran and Bao Jia look at each other and smile. Now the value of Mr. Zhang's pile of waste stones will double. It is really hard to say whether Mr. Zhang will sell it or not. Looking at the stone under her feet that has not been cut, Lin Luoran feels lucky that she didn't cut all of it. Otherwise, these people will all go crazy. After some polite greetings, Lin Luoran and Bao Jia walk out of the gate of the stone factory with a pile of business cards in hand. Now they all say that she is the goddess of luck. They leave their contact address so that she can sell good stones to them in the future. Lin Luoran puts the raw stones in her hand in the trunk. It is not a good idea to keep them here. She should take them back first. Lu Zheng is also going back. Looking at the two happy girls, he asks hesitantly, "Miss Lin, are you going to be a professional stone gambler in the future?" "Of course not. A proper job is the right thing to do." "Mr. Lu, are you regretting?" Lin Luoran smiles. What she says is not true. The Reiki of emeralds seems to be useful for beads. Before she knows it clearly, she can have a job in the jewelry industry. Isn't it good for her? If Lin Luoran wants to be a professional stone gambler, her 6 million yuan will not help her much. She can't even afford a big stone. Lu Zheng is also worried that Bao Jia's friend will lose her mind. Hearing what she says, he naturally has no objection. He reaches out his hand to Lin Luoran, goddess of luck. "Welcome to work in Lu's company in advance." Lin Luoran shakes hands with Lu Zheng frankly and generously. They are in different directions, so they naturally say goodbye here. Bao Jia has been calm all the time, not like someone who has just won 2 million yuan. Lin Luoran is still thinking that Bao Jia has really seen the world, unlike her, whose heart is still pounding. Unexpectedly, when the car enters the city, Bao Jia hits the steering wheel halfway. Who would drive a Japanese car with 2 million yuan? "I will buy a BMW tomorrow." "Luoran, I love you so much, huh?" Chapter 14. The two of them make a table full of dishes, such as tomato salad, boiled cabbage, stir-fried spinach, red, smooth and tender fish in hot chili oil, and twice-cooked pork with garlic sprouts. Except for the meat, the vegetables are all produced by the space. Bao Jia whines while holding her stomach. "I'm so full." "Luoran, your cooking skills are getting better. Why don't you open a restaurant and be a chef instead of selling jewelry?" It's strange that the vegetables tonight are more delicious than the meat dishes. Is the vegetables Luoran gives her really different? The next day, the two of them go to Lu's jewelry together for an interview. Lin Luoran is interviewing a saleswoman, and Bao Jia has resigned from Fortune House to apply for a designer position in Lu's. It's called an interview, but it's actually just a process. Lu Zheng has already told Lin Luoran about her job, so his staff won't make things difficult for her. However, she has no working experience, so she can only get the internship salary at the beginning, which is only the basic salary. Lin Luoran also knows her own situation, so she is not reluctant at all. It's true that she can detect Reiki, but she knows nothing about customer psychology and sales promotion. It would be strange if she doesn't receive training. As for Bao Jia, she is famous in our city. She can be regarded as a local talent in jewelry design. Lu's welcomes her in business, not to mention her personal friendship with Lu Zheng. The two of them pass the interview easily. Because it's Friday, the company tells them to start work next Monday. The weather in our city in late autumn is pleasant as long as it's not windy. The warm sun shines on them. There are many cheap snacks on the street. Our city is famous for its beautiful girls, but it's true that girls are short. Lin Luoran and Bao Jia are 168 centimeters and 170 centimeters respectively, and they stand out in high heels. The two beautiful girls are walking on the street, eating wolf teeth potatoes, and sticking out their tongues because of the spiciness, which attracts the attention of countless passers-by. "Bao Jia, are you really going to change your car?" Lin Luoran fans her tongue and asks indifferently. Bao Jia also drinks a mouthful of juice because of the spiciness. She corrects, "Thanks to you, I've made a fortune. I'll feel uneasy if I don't spend it. Besides, it's not me who wants to buy a car, but both of us. Do you understand?" Lin Luoran is still hesitant. Isn't it too ostentatious to buy a car after making a small fortune? Baojia sees that she is tempted, so she adds, "Think about it. If you have a car, you can go to see your parents on weekends. You don't have to worry about transfers, and you won't be late for work. How convenient it is." Lin Luoran is silent. In the past, in order to support Li Anping's education, she was willing to split $1 into two. Besides, although her hometown is not far from our city, it takes her 3 or 4 hours to get home from our city. She was in a hurry every time she went back. Later, in order to save money, she went home less often. Now that she thought about it, for such a man, she was not stupid, but very stupid. It was obvious that Li Anping couldn't afford to go to school, but his mother had the nerve to cry in front of her, asking her to give the opportunity to study to her son, but now, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Lin Luoran forgets about the past and realizes that Baojia's words are all on her mind. She just wants to buy a car. There is still a stone to cut. If she is out of money, she can cut it and sell it after the wind blows over. If it doesn't work, she still has the space. She can work hard to sell vegetables for the sake of living. Let's go buy a car. Baojia laughs. A man with a beer belly on the roadside is so surprised that he almost bumps into a telephone pole. They make a decision. One buys a car and the other changes a car. Baojia says she wants to change a BMW. They go to the BMW 4S store in our city. There is a new store at the Lioli overpass on the East 3rd Ring Road. Baojia has been there for a long time. This is the closest place to them, so they take a taxi and go straight to their destination. It only takes them 10 minutes. Fortunately, the salesgirl is not as snobbish as described in novels. Although Lin and Baojia come by taxi, the salesgirl dutifully introduces various models to them after hearing that they want to see a car. Baojia's requirements are easy to satisfy. She has wanted a convertible for a long time. "Miss Chin, according to your requirements, you can consider our BMW 3 Series hardtop convertible. It will cost more than 700,000 yuan if it is imported. Its appearance is also suitable for young people. The car insurance and interior decoration will only cost more than 700,000 yuan. The salesgirl says only about 700,000 yuan lightly. Lin Luoran is speechless. Just one day ago, she only had more than 1,000 yuan, let alone 700,000 yuan. The salesgirl shows them the car. Since it is a new store and it is still in the period of developing customers, this 4S store does not have unspoken rules such as picking up the car at a higher price. The salesgirl says that they can pick up the car right away. The price is acceptable to Baojia, and it is the model she likes. There is no need to hesitate. Baojia immediately decides to buy this car. The salesgirl is dizzy. She is about to take Baojia to pay and pick up the car. Baojia stops her. "My friend also wants to buy a car. We can pay together later. It is convenient." The salesgirl can't help but look at Lin Luoran. Baojia is imposing. Lin Luoran is wearing ordinary clothes. Although she is beautiful, she doesn't look like a person who can buy a BMW. The salesgirl always thinks that she is just a foil. However, Lin Luoran's temperament makes people feel comfortable. The salesgirl has been nice to her since the beginning. Now she feels lucky. You really can't judge a book by its cover. If she is not careful enough, she will lose 1 or even 2 commissions. "Miss Lin, what kind of car do you like?" Hearing that Lin Luoran wants to buy a car, the salesgirl smiles more sincerely. Well, Lin Luoran really doesn't know much about car models. It is not her fault. She used to be far away from owning a house. How dare she hope to have a car? Naturally, she doesn't care much about these things. A car with more space can run on a bad road. I only have these 2 requirements. Can you recommend some cars for me? More space is more convenient for Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran. She can't get a single-door sports car with only 2 seats. It is better to have a high place. When they are close to their hometown, there is a long bad road. This must be taken into consideration. Hearing that there is no price limit, the salesgirl's eyes light up. However, she thinks that Baojia chooses a car with a price of more than 700,000 yuan. Seeing that they are close, she recommends a BMW X5 with a similar price. This X5 ordinary off-road vehicle recommended by the salesgirl is priced as high as 800,000 yuan. Plus other things, it will cost more than 800,000 yuan to buy this car. Lin Luoran has 6 million yuan in her card. Although she won't spend it recklessly, she is confident to pay more than 800,000 yuan. Anyway, she doesn't plan to change cars in a short time. Lin Luoran only thinks for a while and decides to buy this car. Baojia smiles. Your driver's license hasn't expired, right? The C1 driver's license is now renewed every 6 years. Lin Luoran counts the days and finds that it has only been 2 years since she got her driver's license. She nods to show that it is okay. That's good. We can drive the new car back in a while. Baojia makes a decision and chooses a blue car. Lin Luoran chooses a silver-gray one because it is resistant to dirt. As long as it is convenient to pay, the car dealer will do the job more quickly. Lin Luoran drives the new car carefully through the traffic. It takes her less than an hour to choose a car. Baojia dodges left and right, moving freely in the traffic. Lin Luoran is mocked by her as a snail driving a BMW. Chapter 15. Grandpa, please let me go. That thing is really lost and can't be found. The tall man, or Mu Tianen, the new regional manager of Yifeng Seed Company, is bowing to the phone, as if the person on the other side of the phone can see his expression. He is making the call in front of the store. The fat salesman, who has lost the ginseng seed, sees his bowing and bowing. He is even more anxious. Manager Mu is really a good man. He is willing to take responsibility for an employee like me. The fat salesman is afraid of being punished by the head office, but he can't help looking at Mu Tianan, who is answering the phone. Just like Mrs. Xianglin, he says in his heart, Manager Mu is handsome and kind-hearted. He is really a good man. Mu Tianan, who doesn't know that he has been given a good man card, has no time to care about the thoughts of his salesman at this moment. He is now deeply troubled by the old man on the other side of the phone. I really didn't. I didn't get it even if you kill me. Mu Tianen loses his patience when he thinks that his sentence may be increased by a few years because of this reason. Bastard, you don't take me seriously. I'll break your legs. Mu Tiannan's roar comes out of the phone, which makes people's ears ring. He shrinks his head and wants to throw the phone away. However, when he thinks of his father's temper, his courage disappears. Are you kidding me? If the old man is only hot-tempered, then his father is cruel. It is this tyrant who dragged him out of his comfortable home in New York and sent him to our city, an inland city. My blondes, I miss you so much. Mu Tianen wails in his heart, but he says flatteringly, Grandpa, please give me some time. I can find the ginseng seed once, and I can definitely get it again. You must believe me and put in a good word for me in front of my father. Sigh. A sigh came from the other end of the phone. Don't try to fool an old man like me. Even if our Mu family mobilizes manpower to look for 100-year-old ginseng deep in the mountains, how can we be as lucky as last time and find one with seeds? Mu Tianen notices the loneliness in his grandpa's voice. He blames himself for being too careless. He says seriously, can't we just use that wild ginseng? Logically speaking, the medicinal power of ginseng is stronger than the seeds. When he said this, he lowered his voice and returned to his office on the second floor, not knowing if it was related to confidential matters. Everything in the world has a spirit. Ginseng's spiritual energy is fine for ordinary people, but for your grandpagua, it's too strong. You have to know that his meridians can't withstand the torment. When the voice on the other end of the phone said this, there was a hint of loneliness. Grandpa, the powerful man who used to carry me on his head, laugh loudly, and eat meat, has his meridians been damaged to the extent that he can't stand a 500-year-old ginseng? Mu Tianen murmurs to himself. What can he do for the older generation? And her grandfather, the omnipotent grandfather in her memory, was he going to face the same situation as Grandfather Gua? Mu Tianen can't even promise. For a moment, the grandfather and the grandson are silent, and the atmosphere is very depressing. Finally, the other side hangs up the phone first. Beep beep. Listening to the busy tone from the phone, Mu Tianen has long lost his usual playboy look. He knocks on the desk with his slender fingers. After thinking for a while, he takes a piece of ordinary A4 printing paper from the drawer, sharpens a pencil, and begins to draw. With 2 simple strokes, he draws the outline of a side face. After a while, the long hair that reaches to the waist is also rudimentary. Nose, thoughts. Mu Tianen draws smoothly based on his memory. Only when he draws the eyes, he pauses. It seems that he has some difficulty. After making some changes, Mu Tianen picks up the phone on the desk and calls Xiao Yuan downstairs. Xiao Yuan is the slightly chubby salesperson. Her round face is cute, which matches her name very well. Being suddenly summoned by Mu Tianen, Xiao Yuan can't help but feel her heart beat faster. She doesn't know why the manager wants to see her. Manager Mu? Xiao Yuan's voice is timid, which is very lovable. Come in. Mu Tianen is not in the mood to have tender feelings for the fairer sex, so he quickly asks her to come in. Xiao Yuan pushes the door open. Mu Tianen points at the paper and asks her to see. Hey, isn't this? Xiao Yuan is a little surprised. On this A4 paper is the drawing of Lin Luoran whom she has seen before. Although it is only a side face, Xiao Yuan still has a deep impression of Lin Luoran. Mu Tianen is about to breathe a sigh of relief when Xiao Yuan spits out another but, which makes him worried again. But what? Mu Tianen is going to find Lin Luoran according to this drawing. It would be best if there is no difference. However, he only saw the side face that day. No matter how good the drawing is, it can only be like this. Vomiting blood, vomiting blood. Later, he will ask someone to install a camera. Although the seed company is a little remote, it needs a camera. Otherwise, it would not be so troublesome. Xiao Yuan hesitates. The eyes don't look like hers. The lady's eyes are so bright, yes, like stars. Xiao Yuan finds a suitable adjective and is also relieved. Mu Tianen frowns. He also feels that the eyes don't look like hers. At that time, he didn't feel it. Now in retrospect, he feels that her temperament is really special. It is really worrying that he can't draw it with pen and ink. After asking Xiao Yuan to leave, Mu Tianen thinks for a while and makes a phone call. I want to find someone. The other side agrees and says a few words. Mu Tianen says, yes, in our city. It's a woman. I have a portrait of her profile in my hand. I know it's difficult. Otherwise, why would I call you? The other side seems to be a little scared and agrees reluctantly. He doesn't need to guess to know that this is a hard job for them. Mu Tianen is silent for a while. He also feels that it is difficult for the other side, so he adds, don't worry. Although I drew it according to my memory, her eyes are very easy to recognize. They are very distinctive. The other side on the phone asks what the features are. Mu Tianen chokes out the words, like stars. He blushes a little. What kind of features is this? However, he can't find another more appropriate adjective. It is really embarrassing. The other side asks cautiously, if you find her, should I send her to your place? Mu Tianen finally scolds angrily, what nonsense are you talking about? Let me tell you, this time I am not hunting for a woman. It is the person that Grandpa wants. I will fax you the portrait later. If you can't find her, you will suffer. Mu Tianen is very depressed to be regarded as a playboy who only knows how to hunt for women. He doesn't think that if he had not done so many bad things before, how could others have such a magical way of thinking? Lin Luoran, who makes Mu Tianen depressed, doesn't know that another playboy in our city is very depressed because of her. Even if she knows, she is not in the mood to care about it now. Chapter 16. Lin Luoran knows Baojia's character. Baojia's seemingly dislike is actually Baojia's way to celebrate for her. Baojia takes Lin Luoran to buy shoes and clothes, thick winter coats, silver stilettos, and black riveted boots. These are all luxuries that Lin Luoran could only look at on the bus to and from work when she was with Li Anping. In order to save for Li Anping's tuition and living expenses, Lin Luoran could only look at them through the window on the bus. Today, she buys all of them and enjoys shopping. This may seem vulgar to some people, but Lin Luoran begins to understand a truth. If a woman doesn't love herself, She shouldn't expect a savior to save her. In the afternoon, Lin Luoran still misses the space, so she doesn't accept Baojia's proposal. Instead, she insists on driving back to the place she rents. The community Lin Luoran rents belongs to the area of our city that is about to be demolished. Those who have a little ability have moved away. There are only some workers like Lin Luoran and a few aborigines who can't move away. Therefore, most of the cars in the community cost more than 100,000 yuan. When Lin Luoran drives the new BMW back to the community, those old men and women who are in the middle of digestion are all shocked. Hey, isn't this the girl who lives on the 3rd floor of Unit 1? I heard from Mr. Lee that her family is from the countryside. She used to live a hard life. How come she suddenly becomes beautiful and rich? The old woman holds her granddaughter in her arms and stops an old man who is also taking a walk beside her. She asks sourly, "Alas, she is not as lucky as my daughter. With such a sharp chin, she doesn't deserve this blessing." The old woman thinks unwillingly. The old man rolls his eyes and covers the ears of his grandson in his arms. He lowers his voice and says mysteriously, "She got rich overnight. Maybe she has a boss? Young people nowadays can't bear hardships at all." The old woman pats him and says, "You are digging your own grave. How can you say such words in front of a child? If you lead my girl astray, I will kill you." While they are gossiping, Lin Luoran is still packing up things in the trunk. She hears these malicious speculations clearly. Since she ate the mysterious fruit, she has been sweating. Others can only see the changes in her appearance. What they can't see is that her eyes can see Reiki and she can see the thin legs of ladybugs on leaves a few meters away. As for her ears, she can hear the sound of flies flapping their wings a few meters away if she wants. After packing up things and locking the car door, Lin Luoran pretends not to hear the old people's gossip and goes upstairs. Unfortunately, she had just taken a few steps when the little girl named Nyon Nyon wriggled in her grandmother's arms and asked loudly in a childish voice, "Grandma, what do you mean by having a relationship with the boss?" Lin Luoran turns around and finds that the little girl is asking the old woman curiously with her round eyes. The old woman is covering the little girl's mouth tightly. She and the old man look at each other and slip away. Lin Luoran can only smile bitterly. She can doesn't is. Lin can Luoran knows. She can. Luoran can. Luoran can. She bought a car because she was happy. Now it seems that it is not suitable for this community. Lin Luoran doesn't dislike the place where she has lived for 3 years. It is just that this is an old house. There are not many parking spaces. She has to occupy the aisle to park the car. It will be a big problem in the future. Baojia's suggestion of buying a house seems to be very prescient. It needs to be put on the agenda. Thinking about this, Lin Luoran opens the door with bags of all sizes. She tries her best to get in. Her physical strength is improved. She doesn't feel tired after walking for a long time. The first thing she thinks of is to go to the space to have a look. However, she is used to looking around the house. Why does she feel that something is wrong? Well, the cup on the table, Lin Luoran is a very organized person. She will definitely put the cup back in the kitchen after drinking water. She remembers that she put the cup back when she left yesterday. How come the cup is not only on the table but also filled with half a cup of water? Lin Luoran goes to the bedroom and opens the wardrobe. She finds that the clothes are turned over. Was it stolen? No, the most valuable TV series is still on the TV cabinet. The second most valuable second-hand computer is still in the bedroom. If a thief came, why didn't he steal it? Lin Luoran runs to the lock. There is no trace of someone breaking the door. Otherwise, she should have been alert. It is easy for Lin Luoran to connect these clues together. The cup on the table is like a person who was tired after looking for something at home. He poured a cup of water and even rested on the sofa for a while. The lock is not pried. It seems that the person entered the door with a key. He didn't take the TV series away. He seems to know that there are more valuable things in her house. Before yesterday, she was poor. She only earned 6 million yuan and an uncut raw stone yesterday. But who knew these things? Lin Luoran suddenly has a suspect, Li Anping. He has the key and he knows that she has made 6 million yuan. He even knows that her bankbook used to be in the wardrobe. Lin Luoran sneers. What he doesn't know is that her life has changed dramatically since she was dumped. With a portable safe in the space, she has moved all her documents and bank cards into the safe. She even took the bankbook with no money that matched the bank cards. Lin Luoran figures it out. Somehow, she doesn't hate him. Instead, she feels it is a little funny. She didn't go home last night. She took the bankbook and the card with her. The raw stone is still in Baojia's house. Li Anping probably came here today before she went home. After searching for a long time, she finds nothing. Lin Luoran really wants to see the man's embarrassing look. Although she is happy, in order to prevent this fly from coming to her door again, she has to move. Before that, Lin Luoran decides to change the lock first. Professional unlocking and changing the lock. Please dial 138. There are several notes like this on the door of Lin Luoran's house. She takes out her new mobile phone and wants to ask someone to change the lock. However, the phone in her hand suddenly rings. It is a beautiful whirring sound. The phone is shining with a metallic luster. The caller ID starts with 02. Well, it is the landline number. It is a little familiar. Lin Luoran answers the phone with confusion. A familiar loud voice comes from the other end of the phone. Lun, come back quickly. Something big happened at home. Something big happened at home. Chapter 17. Auntie, slow down. What's wrong with my parents? Does my father have high blood pressure or my mother is sick? The first thing that comes to Lin Luoran's mind is that one of her parents is sick, which is the most important thing in her mind. Auntie Li is puzzled by Lin Luoran's question on the other end of the phone. She hesitates for a while and then replies, "What are you talking about? Your parents are in good health. They are not sick." Lin Luoran feels scared and says, "Auntie, you scared me too. They are fine. Everything else is not a big deal. Don't worry. Tell me slowly." "Oh, you are such a girl. Li Anping's mother has been cursing you all afternoon. Do you think it is a big deal?" Although Auntie Li is from the countryside, she has a loud voice and speaks quickly. She tells Lin Luoran what happened in the afternoon in a few words. She is not the person involved, so she doesn't know the whole story. However, Lin Luoran's mouth is trembling and her chest is heaving. It is purely because of anger. Auntie Li adds, "Lun, she said she will come again tomorrow. Do you want to come back and see her?" Lin Luoran tries to calm herself down. She thinks for a while and says to Auntie Li, "Auntie, I will come back as soon as possible. How about this? Don't tell my parents that I am coming back in case they are worried. Let's talk about it when I come back." "That's good. That's good." Auntie Li hangs up the phone. Lin Luoran hangs up the phone and wants to call Baojia first. However, she holds back after thinking for a while. Baojia must be exhausted after a whole day's shopping. It is unreasonable for her to drag her back at night. Besides, what if Baojia is not around one day? Some things have to be faced and dealt with by herself. Lin Luoran has no time to change the door lock. She puts all the things she bought today into the space, takes the key, changes her shoes, and goes downstairs. It is not convenient to withdraw money in the countryside. Lin Luoran goes to the bank to withdraw some cash and put it on. She is not in the mood to choose a gift. She turns on the GPS and drives back to her hometown. She sped up along the way. Perhaps it was because of the good coordination after her marrow cleansing, she sped along the way without any mishaps on the highway. Looking at her watch, it was only 6:30. She actually arrived at her hometown safely in an hour. Lin Luoran's hometown is a place where it rains at least 200 days out of 365 days a year. The air is always wet. Lin Luoran's home is in the countryside, which is more than 10 kilometers away from the county. The last part of the road is full of gravel and mud. In the afternoon, the wheels of the car will get stuck in the road. Lin Luoran thinks that she can get back home before dark, so she is not in a hurry. After all, Lin Luoran with the road. At this time, she calmed down. Li Anping's mother said that she would come to visit tomorrow, so she couldn't rush back now. Li's thinking. Lees with Lees. Chi Li and Li Lin Li 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 and Li Li Thulis. Luoran. Li Li Li. In terms of effect, these supplements may not be as good as the vegetables produced in her space. However, there is no shortage of farm vegetables in the countryside. It is too insincere to give them to others, and others can't see that they are special. As soon as Lin Luoran enters the village, she meets a woman with a big mouth. If she pays attention to her, her reputation as a nouveau riche will spread in the village in an instant. If she ignores her, well, arrogant will be added in front of the nouveau riche. Sister Li, are you picking scallions? Lin Luoran rolls down the window and greets the woman called Sister Li with a smile. Sister Li is holding a handful of scallions in her hand. She is about to go home and eat a bowl of noodles. She sees a car that looks very high-end sliding by the entrance of the village. She is wondering whose rich relative it is. Suddenly, the window is rolled down and Lin Luoran's face is different from before. It is dark and Lin Luoran's temperament has changed greatly. If she doesn't hear the voice, Sister Li won't dare to recognize her. Sister Li widens her eyes and the mole at the corner of her mouth trembles exaggeratedly. Isn't this the girl of the Lin family? Oh, you're rich. You still remember me. You are not as rude as others. Lin Luoran knows that she can't stop once she starts to talk. She interrupts her with a smile. I will go to Sister Li's house another day. It is dark. I have to go back today. What else can Sister Li say? She waves her hand and watches Lin Luoran drive away. As soon as Lin Luoran's car makes a turn, Sister Li spits on the ground fiercely. As Anping's mother said, that silly girl has also made a fortune. Ah, what a world! Sister Li is indignant with red eyes, but then she smiles again. I am going to send the message. There will be more fun tomorrow. She is not even in a hurry to cook the noodles. She holds the handful of scallions and goes to Li Anping's house in the east of the village. When Lin Luoran arrives home, her parents haven't made a fire to cook yet. They hear the sound of a car outside the yard. They don't know what is going on, so they come out with doubts. It's strange. Why is such a car parked in their yard? Mr. and Mrs. Lin are both honest country people. They just think it is a passerby. Lin Luoran gets out of the car and shouts, Dad, Mom, I am back. Mr. and Mrs. Lin just realize that the girl in front of them, who drives a good car and wears a wool cardigan, is not their daughter who hasn't been home for a few months. There are no parents who don't look forward to their children coming home. Mr. Lin is dull. He is so happy that he doesn't know what to say. Mrs. Lin pushes him, and then he remembers to help his daughter move things. By the electric light under the eaves, Mr. Lin looks at the cigarettes and wine in his hand. They are all good cigarettes and wine. These are good things. There are not many people in the village who can afford to enjoy them. My daughter is so filial. Mr. Lin grins happily. Mrs. Lin thinks more deeply. These cigarettes and wine are not cheap. Her daughter buys so much and drives a car back. Where does she get the money? Could it be that Anping's mother was right? Mrs. Lin's heart is like a bucket in a well. Seeing that Mr. Lin is still moving things into the house, she can't help holding Lin Luoran's hand and whispers, Luoran, you have to tell me the truth. Where did you get this car? Where did you get so much money to buy these? I know how much money you make every month. Chapter 18. Lin Luoran has a headache. As expected, Li Anping's mother has made up so many words to slander her that even her mother is on tenterhooks. Mom, how can your daughter go astray? You don't believe your own daughter but others. I earn my money by myself. I got it legally. I'll tell you the details after dinner, okay? Mrs. Lin is worried. Lin Luoran won't be angry, so she takes the initiative to explain and promise. Mrs. Lin wants to say something, but Mr. Lin finishes the last bag of beef and says impatiently, Isn't she tired after driving for a long time? Let's talk after dinner. At this critical moment, Mr. Lin is the head of the family. Mrs. Lin stops talking and the three of them go to the stove to cook. Mrs. Lin cuts vegetables, Mr. Lin stir-fries, and Lin Luoran keeps the fire. The division of labor is as clear as before. Mr. Lin is different from other men in the countryside. He never thinks that his wife should do all the housework. He is even better than Mrs. Lin when it comes to cooking. Looking at the vegetables Lin Luoran brings back, Mrs. Lin says, "There are all kinds of vegetables at home. Why did you waste your money? These are all vegetables from the space." Lin Luoran can't say it clearly, so she says, "Mom, this is a new variety. It's not easy to buy it outside." Mr. Lin takes a piece of celery and puts it into his mouth. It is crisp and a little numb. His mouth is full of saliva and he keeps nodding. "The vegetables brought by my daughter are really better than those grown in our family. It is her filial piety. Why do you always criticize her?" Lin Luoran sees her father blinking. Just like when they were little, they easily formed a front to fight against Mrs. Lin. In the eyes of others, Mr. Lin is honest and inarticulate. Only in front of his daughter, he shows his smart side. Looking at the wrinkles around his eyes and his gray hair when he blinks, Lin Luoran's eyes turn red. Her father is only in his 50s, but he has been tortured by life. Lin Luoran can't let them suffer anymore. Lin Luoran lowers her head to make the fire. She hides the tears in her eyes and secretly makes up her mind that she will not let her parents work hard day and night. Mr. Lin pours oil into the pot and takes over the celery cut by Mrs. Lin. He is about to cook stir-fried beef with celery when he hears the noise in the yard. The family of 3 can't help but stop. The Lin family was a small family with a single door. The walls of the courtyard were all made of fences, so any movement could be easily seen. While the family of 3 was cooking, so many people came to the yard. Li Beiji, together with her 2 children and other children in the village, 7 or 8 of them are curiously touching the car that Lin Luoran drove back. There were also countless onlookers standing outside the fence, sneakily looking around. No one knew what they were up to, or if they were just here to watch the show. The old woman standing in the courtyard was small and inconspicuous. She was Li Anping's mother. Seeing that Li Anping's mother, 2 daughters, a son-in-law and several brothers are blocking her yard, Lin Luoran sneers. They are taking advantage of the fact that Lin Luoran's family doesn't belong to the Li's village. "In-law, what are you doing? Let's talk in the house." Seeing so many people in the yard, Mrs. Lin is afraid that the Li's family would make a big deal out of this. She wants to make peace. Mrs. Li's throat rumbles and she spits out a mouthful of phlegm. "Who is your in-law? We don't have such a shameless daughter-in-law. She has money but doesn't support her family. I don't know who she is. Anyway, I don't know where the bitch gets her money. You can ask your daughter if she has a boss and abandon my Anping. Even the engagement bracelet was taken back by her." Mrs. Li's words are sarcastic, which makes the onlookers boo loudly. Mrs. Li is very proud. "Your family fled from the Li's village and came here. Who knows what kind of people your family is? You have such a shameful daughter. Like mother, like daughter." Mrs. Lin doesn't know what to say. She looks at her daughter incredulously. Lin Luoran is stunned for a moment. She looks at the old woman in front of her. She has several children, but Li Anping is the only one who went to college. The others are all daughters. She sacrificed her future for Li Anping. She used to be kind to Lin Luoran. She said to Lin Luoran, "Anping went to college, so you went to college. Don't worry, girl. If he doesn't treat you well, I will break his legs." Now, Lin Luoran remembers that when she just broke up with Li Anping, she called him aunt on the phone. Li Anping's mother screamed, "Who is your aunt? I'm telling you, you stinking girl, don't even think about pestering my son. My son is a graduate student. Why don't you take a look at yourself first?" Lin Luoran doesn't remember how she felt when she hung up the phone. She only knows that she is very, well, angry. She is angry. She is angry that she was young and inexperienced. She is angry that she was soft-hearted. She is angry that her parents were manipulated by reason. She is angry that Mrs. Li behaved differently and that Li Anping changed his mind. However, what Lin is really angry about is herself. She didn't know Mrs. Li well and let her parents endure the humiliation today. Lin Luoran pulls away her parents and asks them to let her handle it. She looks at Mrs. Li, who is spitting, and asks, "What do you want?" Mrs. Li and her family look at Lin Luoran and feel that the Lin family is easy to bully. Before Mrs. Li says anything, Li Anping's sister steps forward. What do you want? Give back your bracelet. You can regret the engagement, but the bracelet belongs to my family. Li Anping's sister has been drooling over the silver bracelet for a long time. She doesn't dare to take it from her brother. Otherwise, she will be beaten to death by her mother. Li Anping says that the bracelet is worth at least 30,000 yuan. His sister is even more jealous. Sister Li Anping looks at Lin Luoran proudly after saying this. Unexpectedly, her mother pulls her and she almost trips over. The bracelet is won. We have been engaged for so many years. How can you just call off the engagement? What do you think the Li family is? What do you think the whole Li's village is? I heard that you are rich now. You have to compensate us for our loss. This is what Mrs. Li thinks. Since her son called her in the morning and told her that Lin Luoran was rich, Mrs. Li feels that she can't let her go so easily. She has to extort money from her. She has a good plan. The Lin family has no foundation in the Li's village and no one will help them. After all, Lin Luoran is a shy girl. She can do whatever she wants. The villagers outside the fence are watching with interest. Only Auntie Li looks worried. Mrs. Li's nephews and sons-in-law are staring at her. Lin Luoran sneers and laughs angrily. Chapter 19. Who said I am going to break off the engagement? Lin Luoran asks. Mrs. Li doesn't know what to say. The villagers point at Lin Luoran. They all say that Lin Luoran has an affair with a graduate student. How shameless she is. Mr. Lin looks for a stick to beat those gossipy women. Mrs. Lin looks at her daughter eagerly. Lin Luoran straightens her long hair that reaches her chest. She is standing there calmly, but all the bachelors in the village are staring at her. Mrs. Li doesn't know what to say. Why doesn't Lin Luoran break off the engagement? Although she is not a rich girl in the city, she can't make a decision until she gets married. Anping says that Lin Luoran has made a fortune. Mrs. Li can consider it. Mrs. Li made up her mind in an instant. She was proud of her son's charm at the same time. Mrs. Li thought to herself, "Little girl Lin, if you repent, this old woman can still make the decision to let Anping forgive you." Mrs. Li squints. She says she will forgive Lin Luoran, but her attitude is arrogant. It seems that her concession is a great grace to Lin Luoran. Mr. Lin puts down the broom in his hand. A good girl doesn't marry a second husband. If Lin Luoran and Li Anping can be reconciled, Mr. Lin would like to see it. Mrs. Lin doesn't know what happened. However, seeing Mrs. Li's behavior, there is only one thought in her mind. Her daughter must have been wronged. Mrs. Lin trembles with anger and looks at her daughter worriedly. She wants Lin Luoran to reconcile with Li Anping, but the Li family is so arrogant now. Lin Luoran may be bullied when she marries them. The vagrants in the village covet Lin Luoran's beauty. Hearing Mrs. Li's words, they all laugh. Mrs. Li, didn't you say that Lin Luoran has a sugar daddy? If you persuade them to reconcile, your son won't look good. Ha! Lin Luoran looks at Mrs. Li with a gloomy expression. The laughing villagers and the arrogant Li family are putting on a show, aren't they? Of course I won't break off the engagement. Lin Luoran replies to Mrs. Li clearly. She doesn't say it won't be so easy in her heart. Mrs. Li and her eldest daughter look at each other and find joy in each other's eyes. Sure enough, the girl of the Lin family is still as cowardly as before. I don't know why Ping said that she has changed. Sister Li licked her lips. Hand over the bracelet first, and I'll put in a good word for you in front of my little brother. What do you think? Mrs. Li's eyes bulge and she scolds the vagabond. There is nothing for you to do here. Go back and die. Lin Luoran ignores them and glances at the crowd. Sure enough, the village head has been hiding in the crowd for a long time. As an outsider, Lin Luoran doesn't expect the head of the Li's village to stop Mrs. Li's unreasonable behavior. In her opinion, it is not easy for the head of the Li's village to not help the Li's family to oppress her family. After all, the Li's village has the same surname. Lin Luoran instantly thinks of a way to disgust the Li's family. She says to Mrs. Li with a smile, I did make a fortune recently. Since I'm back today, I have to repay you well. Mrs. Li doesn't expect that things can be solved so easily. The little doubt in her heart vanishes in front of the money. The wrinkles on her face are all stretched out. Mrs. Li is wondering how much money Lin Luoran has now and how much money she needs. On the other side, Lin Luoran nods to the village head and smiles. Village Chief Li, I have something to discuss with you. Can we talk a little closer? The village head, who is called, is smoking a pipe in the crowd. He knows about the things between the Li's and the Lin's families. He is kind enough not to help the Li's family. At this time, the girl of the Lin's family calls him out in front of the crowd. The village head moves reluctantly. The crowd takes the initiative to make way for him, which shows his status in the village. Lin Luoran is very satisfied with what she sees. Head, the Lin's family is from outside. The village has been taking good care of our family these years. Luoran is a little girl who doesn't have much ability. However, she has made a small fortune, so she naturally needs to show her kindness. Lin Luoran looks at the village head with a smile. Everyone is shocked. The girl of the Lin's family really went to the city to see the world. Why does she become so bold? Lin Luoran is going to bribe the village head openly. It is ridiculous that the Li's family is still standing aside with a sour face. It is estimated that they won't get anything good. People with discerning eyes can see it. How can the village head not understand the meaning of Lin Luoran's words? However, the Celestial Court has been cracking down recently. Even as a village official, he knows that he can't accept bribes in front of so many people. The girl of the Lin's family is so insensible. Doesn't she know how to give gifts in private? The village head blows a smoke ring and almost flattens the soil under his feet. Girl Lin, what kind of person do you think I am? How can I accept bribes from you? The girl is so young and ignorant. It is a pity that she has lost a lot of money. She deserves to be blackmailed by the Li's family. The village head feels sad. Lin Luoran is clear-minded. She can almost guess what the people of the Li's village are thinking. She pretends to be surprised. Head Li, I think the ancestral hall is a little old, so I am going to repair it. How is this a bribe? As soon as Lin Luoran finishes her words, the village head's eyes light up. He is even more excited than when he thought that Lin Luoran was going to bribe him. It is not that Li Weiguo is honest, but the ancestral hall of the Li's village is the ancestral hall of the Li's family. He is the direct descendant of the Li's family. How much are you going to pay? The village head is so excited that he doesn't even have time to smoke. Not to mention the village head, even the onlookers are talking in a low voice. The Li's village still has the tradition of the old school. The concept of family name is deeply rooted in the village. This is also the reason why no one stands out to say something fair even though they know that there is something wrong with the Li's family. Hearing that Lin Luoran is going to repair the ancestral hall, the descendants of the Li's family feel dizzy as if a big pie fell on their heads. Lin Luoran smiles and looks around at the people of the Li's village with different expressions. Mr. and Mrs. Lin are confused. As for Mrs. Li, the shrewd and mean old lady from the countryside, she looks at Lin Luoran with doubt. It seems that she has noticed something wrong. Head Li, is 100,000 enough? Asking for 100,000 as soon as she opened her mouth, the lass of the Lin family had indeed struck it rich. The village head knocks his pipe on the big green stone in Lin Luoran's yard. He really wants to pay 100,000, but it is too hot. He doesn't know what Lin Luoran wants. Seeing that the village head is thinking, Lin Luoran turns to Mrs. Li and sneers. Mrs. Li, are you kidding me? I don't care that Li Anping hooked up with a rich girl and ignored the agreement between the two families. I even fed the dog with the money I used to support his education. But your family is so shameless. How dare you blackmail me? Do you really think my family is a pushover? Lin Luoran looks at Mrs. Li, who is indignant, and her nephews who are about to fight. Mrs. Li's face turns purple. She is about to scold the shameless bitch when Lin Luoran looks down at her. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.